Alrighty, we've got the finals of whichever season this is, the Dominion League. Do you remember the number, Shanahan?
52.
And I'm joined by Shanahan. We've got
Hello.
Qsenoch playing Cider01. Cider leads by, I believe, half a point. So in the case of a tie, 3-all, the victory would go to Cider. Otherwise, whoever wins, wins. What do we got in this first kingdom? Engineer looks really good to me. Is the first thing that I think is the village is a mining village that draws cavalry. Both of those are fours that can be gained. Outpost will be significant at some point. I would think the opening is almost certainly church engineer. Maybe
Yeah, there's
church
some
cavalry could
draws
be a
where
thing.
you collide stuff and then uh, get a huge banish off like turn 4.
Yeah, church
If
can
you
be really
church
good with
everything
banish.
aside turn 3, and then engineer like gain 2 cavalries, or maybe you only need to gain 1 cavalry, banish 3 estates or something. There's been like some possible lines like that, which are really strong if you can get it.
Yeah. Vineyard might be significant. It's a little bit limited by plus buy. I think by the time you'll want Vineyard, there won't be any plus buy to go around. So that'd just be your one buy of the turn.
I assume mining villages will run and cavalries will run.
As cavalries tend to do, both thematically
Engineers
and
may
as a
run
card.
too, and then that's 3 piles.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the piles run really fast. I could see adding a potion and buying a vineyard. Theoretically, if you gain a cavalry with an engineer, that functions as plus buy. But I expect cavalries will be empty very fast, and so by the time you want vineyards, that might not be a realistic possibility.
Yeah, we'll see. Notably, this is a rematch of last season's championship match where Cider defeated Mick to take home the title.
Cider's been winning a
So,
lot.
Cider is a quite strong player, obviously, as both these players are.
Hey guys,
Howdy.
I missed a little bit. Did anyone talk a little bit about sort of this synergy between, or the possible synergy between Church and Jack?
Church and Jack, no. Well, I don't think we've talked about Jack at all. Wasn't on my radar.
I feel like it must be on Ciders, considering the limited building potential. Although, I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
the idea is you church basically down to 3 cards away, and then you play Jack to essentially draw 5 cards.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like totally sustainable, but I don't know. I mean, you do get to banish your green. I don't know.
For those not in the aware,
kind of
this
hard-
mysterious newcomer is Lemonspawn.
Feels
If-
unsatisfying to banish 2 estates with that turn there. And we banished 2 estates, got an engineer, but it feels a little unsatisfying to me.
But
Banishing twist is great.
like, what else are you buying on
Yeah,
6?
it's just like, oh, we hit 6 and we're banishing 2 estates. And I mean, sure, I guess we're thinning 2 cards. The church, we didn't see the church. So,
Like price points in this kingdom look kind of insignificant to me for the most part. Like
Well, I'm really surprised by that turn 3 outpost.
I was actually in the process of saying you'll want an outpost eventually, but yeah, turn 3 shocked me. And aside from the singular outpost you want to buy, pretty much everything you want in this kingdom costs 4 or less, almost exactly 4 usually.
and in fact, engineer costs 0 by some counts. So,
Yeah,
we can, sort of say you can get by if you thin almost all of your. In fact, you can thin all of your coppers and still get by.
spec chat
Yeah,
is.
I agree.
Oh,
I
isn't it?
think
It's
I
off.
think you could potentially sort of give up on. I don't know. Yeah, I think Jack is good, and you want at least 2, a pair of churches.
It says message spectators for me. I'm assuming it is the you have
Whoa,
to refresh for
really?
that to change.
Oh yeah, it just says message
Yeah.
for me.
It says message spectators to me.
Interesting.
If you joined and they changed it after you joined the table, then it still shows the old value.
Is that a recent bug?
Last month or so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Lemon, what were you saying about Cider Jack?
He got one right. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I was expecting it. I was expecting him to do it. It seems like, I mean, like I don't. Cider's a 2 consecutive season league champions and obviously you don't get there without knowing how to play a lot of different types of decks and basically just being a really good player. But I mean, I do think of him as a little bit more of a money player than most players at this tier, and so I thought he must be looking at that.
Yeah, like I look at this kingdom. I don't really want silvers, so Jack doesn't stick out to me.
How likely is it to collide this church, the Jack, and then not dead draw any of the 3 actions in the bottom 5 cards?
I mean, you can set aside a church and a Jack with a church. So.
Sure, but we had 1 church, 1 Jack, and then
yeah, I mean,
I drew 5 cards. And
what if it's churches and Jacks all the way down? I mean.
But 3 of the 10 cards in the deck were actions there, and we drew 5 coppers. So, like, that was a perfect draw from Cider. If they draw the outpost dead, then they're very, very sad.
Who has 2 churches?
Cider just bought the second one on turn 5. So, that was not in play at that point. It just seems like Cider has high roll to get to this point.
Although, how do they still have 3 estates on turn 6? What led to that?
Church missed the shuffle that they opened.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Well, it worked. It collided in with the Jack, and they drew 5 coppers, so it worked out pretty well for them. Are we taking Engineer here?
I'm gonna say yes.
I'm a little surprised they didn't trash the Engineer.
Kubu, harsh. I mean,
would have considered trashing the Engineer for a Mountain Village and then buying a new one. Sorry, Mining Village. Since we need to add villages, given we have a lot of terminals.
Cider must have been listening to you. But yeah, I agree. It seems like Cider's over terminal. Adding more villages here would make sense to me.
Well, he wants to trash the Engineer, right?
Yeah.
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 not.
I assume Mick is just not reading the chat. Yeah, so strong start here for Cider. I guess Lemon, the thing with you could do with 2 with Church Jack is set aside a Church and a Jack, or just a Jack for your your
exactly.
So you can
Yeah, I think it's
off.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting. I think it was maybe about 2 years ago. Church and Captain were pretty new, and it was the Shuffle It tournament, and the round of 8 when they do the interviews of players, and Truffles was interviewing people, and she was asking their opinions of the new cards. I remember something like this, and there was interview with one of the Japanese players. I don't remember who it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Cider, but I remember them saying that they were really interested in exploring how Church works with draw to X more. I thought it needed more experimenting, whatever, because it's it like synergizes with draw to X now, and then it anti-synergizes with it next turn because it puts cards into your hand. You know what I mean? But like in my experience, sometimes somehow it just kind of works.
I can imagine if you see Church turn 3 and not Jack, you just set aside nothing, and then it does synergize because you have a 4-card.
You trash a card. Yeah. I mean, you get to choose the order you play your cards, right? So you can find a way to make things.
I'm trying to think which player that was. Who was it 2 years ago? I remember the Japanese player who really did not like Vampire.
I don't remember who that was.
Pop 180.
Pop 180. That's who I was thinking of.
A lot of Germans, and Naismith won that year.
Yeah, I remember Pop 180 commented on Vampire being his least favorite card, and I was like, that's such a weird least favorite card. And then for the next few months, I just consistently noticed getting terrible Vampire hexes and being really upset by them, and I was like, Pop 180 was right all along.
No, I completely understand that. It has the same problem that Goons had. I guess Goons still has the problem. It's just that it's pleasantly gone now. And Scrying Pool has, where the card is just too strong to have any business also being an attack card. And people will like to act like hexes aren't strong attacks, but they are. We all know they are.
Mick just trashed the. I guess Mick's going for big banish here.
A big banish sounds really good to me because I would really like to have leprechaun gains. I think.
Yeah,
Right?
just trashing a mining village this early is unintuitive.
I don't think I agree with the leprechaun that much. I mean,
you don't want the leprechaun?
well, I had vineyards on the brain. I think as far as like you buy one thing a turn, it's going to be a vineyard at the end game. You don't need the golds, and what are you wishing for? Duchies, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, I take it back. I'm convinced. Wishing for cavalry, then you have buy.
Yeah, like if you had cavalry still in the pile at the end game, then you can think about having much of money. I'm anticipating the cavalry's being empty very soon.
And the mining villages and engineers not being far behind.
Right. Mining villages would probably go first, in fact.
So I believe
You think
Mick has
he's
one
gonna-
estate left.
You think he's gonna gain a silver here by chance to banish 7 copper? Yeah,
Wait,
I
I
guess
don't think
somebody
Nick has an estate left. He's got 2 on the exile mat and 2 VP.
Oh, so then that bottom card is something else. Another
Yeah.
mining village?
We'll never know. I'm still confused by the...
Yeah, another.
I mean, I get the appeal of a big banish here, but in my mind, the thing mixed deck needs right now is an outpost, and that's what I'd be looking to buy. In which case, I'd rather not kill a mining village for no reason.
Yes, the bottom card does look like it's the second mining village, so there are quite a few options here with the engineer.
Wait, it isn't? Are you sure it's an estate? It doesn't look like an
it's not
estate to me. I see 2 estates in the exile mat. And
Nick
2
does
victory
like the
points.
leprechaun somehow.
I tricked Spec Chat.
It's not an estate, right? It's a village, right?
I
Yeah.
would think you're correct about that.
And this line, especially if we're trying to get if we're trying to get Leprechaun to play this turn, having the extra mining village, 2 mining villages, 2 cavalries, like a 3rd mining village off this gain.
Is he about to buy a cavalry?
Nick's doing some weird stuff here.
I mean, you can't get an outpost and then the cavalry.
I think there's some scenario where you could gain and play an outpost this turn. I don't know that it'd be worth it, but maybe.
I mean, if you wanted to gain and play the outpost, yeah, he would have had to buy, or he would have had to gain cavalry with the engineer.
Yeah, but we can now activate this Leprechaun this turn. Mick is counting out what that looks like. Buying cavalry, playing 2 mining villages, then the Leprechaun.
Oh, right, yeah.
It looks like.
Looks like you want
I'm not sure
one more
how much I
copper.
like that. Oh, but can he do that and banish? I guess.
Probably not. I don't think. Well, actually, maybe if you draw the gold, you get a decent
Banish a
banish
bunch
off
of
here.
cavalry. Not
I thought Mick played 1 too many coppers here because of this draw was possible. Now you
Ow.
have to use the horse. I mean, you just are wasting 1 draw on the horse, but I don't know why we played the 4th copper. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it changes
Lost
anything,
that.
right? Because there's a scenario where the other mining village is the one on bottom, and then you would also waste a horse to get the mining village. And so I think it's just 50-50 either way.
and we wish for outpost here.
I'm going to say
Yes.
yeah.
Cider's gonna do some.
I kind of like the idea of banishing the cavalry, to be honest.
Yeah, you could get him back if you want him later.
Yeah, I think I'd rather gain new ones. Just have a bunch of cavalry sitting on my exile mat for vineyards. I mean, mining village is also a good choice. Mick needs villages.
So I mean, besides church, Jack draw also sort of synergizes maybe sometimes with cavalry in terms of like. I mean, maybe you find a way to work in playing your treasures, buying a cavalry, and then playing a jack somewhere. And then I guess there's also like the outpost turn. Playing jack on outpost turn could be good.
The Jack GTX stuff is a lot nicer with Villa than with cavalry.
Yeah. But I mean, it's more fun when it's not obvious that you should try to do it. Yeah.
So Cider basically passes this turn.
I was
Could
expecting
have tried to gain a cavalry.
yeah, like I would really want to play the outpost, and so I would think
Getting those
gaining
3
cavalry.
villages seems good. Having the villages seems pretty important. Like, what if Mick just got all the villages somehow?
But if a cavalry gain leads to you playing your outpost, then it's probably gaining an extra mining village anyway on the outpost turn.
Yeah, I don't know. Was there a scenario where he buys a cavalry and then he just cries?
It probably is you stack the deck wrong and that outpost like on the very bottom of the action cards.
Yeah, if you draw Jack Cavalry, I think you cry.
Yeah.
You play, or Jack Copper, but you play the cavalry and then you're...
Well, I mean, Cider did have the opportunity to gain 2 cavalries there if you wanted to. Obviously, you'd rather just gain the 1 cavalry if possible.
Mick being in debt here is pretty annoying. If we weren't in debt, we could play gold, copper, buy cavalry, and activate our leprechaun this turn.
I don't know if any of them have seemed bad to me this game, but generally speaking, when I watch people play with engineer, I think that they trash it way more than I would.
I don't have a strong opinion on that.
I think with this kingdom specifically, just because we have cavalry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good card here. But I mean, I guess that's the thing, right? Like when you trash your engineer, you're deciding you'd rather have that other card than an engineer, or than that engineer, right? Of course, there's a sort of a tempo factor, gaining and playing, and that kind of stuff. But like, engineer is good here.
Yeah.
To me, I'm often thinking about it in terms of like
trashing the engineer means you're not having this good card, which is engineer.
Well, see, I usually think about it in terms of trashing in the engineer and then rebuying the engineer. In which case, it's effectively like buying whichever card you gained for debt. So, like, imagine you play an engineer and just gain a mining village versus play it, gain 2 mining villages, trash it, buy a new one. It's like you bought a mining village.
It depends on how
debt,
bad
which is
the
often
debt
worth
is.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how bad the debt is. So, I mean, it's definitely Oh, here comes the dream.
I think we're also saying Mick has drawn all of these coppers still and had a chance to do a big banish and instead did the leprechaun outpost thing, which is maybe better, but the deck is much thicker.
I'm not folding this leprechaun.
Oh, now he gets the church stuff to put in his outpost hand. I'm not sure what else is down there. I would have considered maybe just putting that village into the outpost hand.
Cider's deck
And
has
then
a lot
buy
of
a jack
silvers.
or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Just I would have spent a little bit of time thinking about what my outpost turn is going to look like, and like, is it going to be a lot better if I have a village in my hand to start off?
Yeah.
What does the new meta baffles me mean? I didn't know the meta has. I mean, I feel like the meta is constantly shifting a little bit.
Mick
But
trashed a mining village in order to afford to buy the last mining village last turn. So basically a denial play. Which is maybe what they're talking about. Cider also entering this turn with
so here's
a lot of debt.
Oh yeah, so he can't buy cavalry.
Because this is a spot where you could play 4 coppers, buy cavalry, and Jack draws a bunch. But because we're in debt, we can't do the fun stuff.
Yeah. Not a great outpost turn. Think he'll trash this cavalry? No.
I'm surprised he played the jack.
He gets to have more silver.
That's why I'm surprised.
So here, we get a strange activation, but an activation of the leprechaun.
Is he gonna do it?
You
Probably.
bought the leprechaun, you got to do it, right?
So do you play 5 copper and buy cavalry, or do you play church, set aside a copper and buy cavalry?
They play 5 copper, buy cavalry, and church something else, but depending on what you draw here, you can church other things, but because if you don't draw, all right, so you can always play church for nothing later.
Well, so like a scenario where it makes sense to do it this way is, let's say you really want to trash a copper and you aren't going to draw another copper this turn. You could set aside a copper now, whereas if you do the cavalry first line, you
play 4 coppers, buy cavalry, and then set the church aside at the end.
Oh, I
Is
see.
what
I see.
CSS is saying. So that
that
order
that makes
is strictly
sense.
better.
Yeah. So
And then you could set aside 2 things if you draw another copper, for example.
Seems like Mick has figured this out.
but that order is not strictly better than the 5 copper cavalry order.
Yeah.
Mm.
But this is nice because Mick's going to get to set aside 3 coppers, potentially. Does this game end in 2 turns?
Maybe.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say it probably doesn't because I think Cider's gonna buy a province. I mean, I
agree.
you get the mountain pass. You get to do the mountain pass attack, which might be pretty good.
If Mick engineers for 2 cavalries here,
So I think the
we're getting
recent
pretty close. They've got 2 more bolts. Like Mick's pretty close to 3-piling this turn. I don't know that they can 3-pile and score though.
the recent change to mountain pass I think makes it a good deal stronger in terms of buying the first province. At least provided like if you pay any more than 8 for the province, now that extra money goes towards paying off the debt.
Why didn't Mick set aside the engineer last turn?
So he could get the 2 cavalries here. Is he just going for it?
This looks like he's going for a banish to me.
This looks like he might have a win to me.
Really? Oh,
He's got to draw stuff.
Yeah.
He's got to draw all the right stuff.
Oh, I think he maybe just has it.
So let's see.
No,
You
we
wish
still
for
need
cavalry
12
here.
money. You need to find 4 more money or another gain. This mountain village,
this is
I
not-
guess
this
we
is
should.
not going
Mining
to
village we could have trashed.
Yeah, he didn't trash
So
the
now
money.
this is now you have to buy provinces, Mick. I think.
Yeah, I mean you want to be the one to buy that first province
Yeah, absolutely.
with Mountain Pass, like. Oh, this seems a bit suicidal to me.
So Cider has 8 coins in hand. Cider has a win in hand, right? Mining village trash, mining village trash,
Yeah.
mining village trash. Engineer gains 2 cavalries.
Yeah, a delicious suicidal exile.
Cider doesn't. That was a win in hand, right? I'm not.
Wait.
Well, you-
Oh man.
3 trashed mining villages and silver is 8 money, and you get 3 buys off the 2 cavalries. You just buy the 3 engineers and win 3-2.
Oh.
Yeah.
He thought about it for such a short amount of time as well. Maybe he'll still get
One of
it.
those he worked out.
He's got his outpost too. I have no idea why Mick didn't buy a province there. That was really.
But now it's not going to work because he's not going to have plus buy on the next turn. He doesn't have money this turn.
Yeah,
So
he thought about it on Mick's turn, and he had sort of decided his line. I think before Mick lowered. Mick lowered right at the end of the turn. Maybe.
Yeah, but
No, I mean,
I don't see how you're not staring at this ending. I mean, I would have been watching Mick's whole turn thinking, is he going to end it? I don't know. You got to always have the mindset that the game's about to end.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it was doable with the 5 cards in hand with no matter what you drew. So, mining village trash is, something one can forget, I guess.
Oof.
Yeah, I think engineer pile gets a lot less likely now that cavalry pile is empty. Because you're not going to have plus buy ever again.
And there are no engineers left in either deck.
He's got a green now.
This kingdom gets a lot slower once the cavalries have run, doesn't it?
I think that's a common thing in cavalry kingdoms.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And mixed deck is all of a sudden a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, that was both players making huge mistakes right back to back. Mick not greening when he really had to, and then Cider not punishing it.
The potion is quite. If you have to take on Mountain Pass debt too, right? Like you can't buy vineyards if you're in debt.
The potion does surprise me. I was thinking vineyards earlier, but both of these decks look like they've gone more in the province-y direction to me with the silvers and golds gained.
Yeah. And yeah, no one has any engineers left. There's 3 mining villages in the trash. The Jack is in the trash.
My intuition of this board is that I think actually provinces are pretty good on it.
If you don't pile out the last turn like Cider could have.
Yeah. But I think probably if played correctly, somebody's going to green in a way that stops the person who would be piling out from being able to do that, and then just sort of forces it into the decks being a little bad. Although, I mean, you have Church and Banish as
Big
ways.
bid or small bid here?
I'm just thinking 14. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, 14 seems high to me. I was going to say 12
You
for
did a
Cider.
11.
Yeah, I think I'd take 12 as Mick.
If you find the vineyard immediately, then you just set it aside for the following turn. I think you could pay off 14 over 2 turns.
Mick can. I don't think can Cider.
Maybe I'm over optimistic. And yeah, the wish here is not clear to me.
You church wish. You wish for church.
Outpost is not ridiculous. I think taking a second outpost is actually kind of reasonable.
Wish for Jack and church aside 3 coppers or something. That doesn't make much sense. Yeah, wish for outpost, set aside 3 coppers. Or, I mean, I guess you set aside 2 coppers and a gold, right?
Yeah, definitely the gold.
You don't really have to play this wish. You could even put the wish in your hand with Church.
Yeah.
The outpost play makes some kind of sense.
It just seems the deck that's going for vineyards has trashed all of its engineers, which you kind of want to hold on to some engineers to keep gaining more things, even if it's just churches.
Yeah.
Any thought to banish 3 here?
I was thinking about it. Cider was not.
It has to be. Not enough banishing has happened. Banish is really good.
This team does have some good banish support between cavalry and church.
What point do we start saving? Actually, save aside this church or mining village so we can try to hit Leprechaun next turn.
Church and mining village to.
Well,
Leprechaun. I don't think I would set aside a mining village.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna draw through anyways. There were enough horses down there. Yeah, we're just lurking near the bottom.
Jack and cavalry are both sort of forms of draw that junk your deck in different ways here, because you've got cavalries you can't really play.
Yeah. Set aside province, copper, cavalry.
I mean, at this point, I think he wants to do another banish.
Or I guess
we're in 12 debt, so I guess you.
Yeah,
I don't think he can banish. I guess province double cavalry.
Pay the
actually.
9 money. Province double cav.
The very setting aside the coppers, you guarantee you can trash a copper next turn, but might just be better to have more terminals on hand and 1 less debt.
You might also want to trash a cavalry. Because I think we have 1 more cavalry than we can ever play.
Is that on the outpost turn or the non-outpost turn that you're?
On the non-outpost turn, we still have one too many cavalries.
Wait, the non-outpost turn is the one where you'd expect to have too many cavalries.
The non-outpost turn, we have two too many terminals.
Okay.
So on the outpost turn, we have one too many terminal. Although with church around, you can smooth that out.
In that case, I'm pro trashing a cavalry.
We just make it pass this turn. Church, wish, cavalry, province, trash a cavalry, play a cavalry, and have a wish next turn.
Seems
Wishing
fine.
for gold to pay off some debt doesn't seem horrible to me.
Yeah, you could wish for the gold now, with the idea that there's some possibility you draw back to it and play it next turn, which case that's better than just setting it aside.
It does already have 3 golds in the deck, so I don't know.
I don't think it'll be Dutchy. I don't think there's any pile pressure. So if you wanted it to be Dutchy, you could just save the wish and take the Dutchy later.
So Mick got fully out of the debt in 1 turn.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if they had the same turnover without the debt, they would have bought a province in the main turn and probably just gained a duchy with that wish. So, the mountain pass somewhat worked out, but one has to be concerned that Cider has this potion for vineyards. One imagines the strategy is like you buy the vineyard, you church aside the potion for the outpost turn where you don't kick off, and you just buy 1 vineyard on your outpost turn and then buy province on your main turn, something like that.
Somebody was asking if Mick could have just taken some debt and bought an engineer, considering Cider could conceivably get a duchy and 2 engineers with a really nice draw. It didn't seem safe.
Yeah, I don't know what Mick is gaining at this point. We have kind of, maybe we would take another church.
Are you banishing coppers here as Cider? Maybe banish province is better than copper. Nope, watch the
Just
Dutchy.
wise with you there.
That's okay.
It looks like they're gonna get a leprechaun kickoff here. Activation, whatever the term is.
I was about to say, why isn't he playing his outpost? And then it dawned on me that is the second outpost. Not a common experience to have.
Not a common occurrence to see 2 outposts in a deck, but everyone agreed at the time the second outpost made sense. So
honestly, like the main reason I wanted the outpost in that scenario was to play it for that turn. But just in general, in this deck, 2 outposts seems kind of fine because they don't have full deck control, but they do have like enough to want to have an extra turn every turn.
Mm-hmm.
If they collide, you set one aside of the church, and actually that doesn't help too much because then it's in your.
Yeah, no. What happens is you might draw your second one on your outpost turn and set it aside with church.
Yeah, I think 2 outposts actually looks kind of okay in this deck.
And Mick's also going to get to.
This is a post someone missing a win game state. Those are always weird, right?
Yeah, this is quite a nice turn for Mick. Play 3 cavalries.
Oh yeah.
Gain a wish. Buy a province. I'd be quite happy with this turn, even if you don't get an outpost in play.
Yeah, the lack of outpost is a little bit sad, but otherwise a good turn.
We have a 32 card deck.
I think my dream for Mick, well, finding a time to have a decent banish at this stage of the game where it doesn't lose you the game because you chose to do it instead of score.
I thought there were opportunities for both of them in that last shuffle. Now we might be getting a little bit too late in the game for it to matter much because we're both at the top of very big shuffles here.
You know, I think Mick has 8 horses in this shuffle. Now it looks like just
The vineyards are going to be really weird because how much value they have depends a lot on whether you played your cavalries recently.
Yeah, I wonder if we see a Jack Wish possibly here.
I'm like slightly interested in churching aside the two things, just making sure next turn is big, but maybe there's not enough. Maybe we just do need to do the Jack Wish and then play the mining village. And
I like this too.
Oh, he did this. Oh.
The vineyard's worth a lot. Well, I mean, they're going to go down in a second when he plays his horses, but then they'll go back up again.
yeah, Mick does have a wish in this shuffle, so if they want to play the vineyard game, although you know if they find a church this turn, they can potentially
That's a really nice church to find.
double next turn.
Given how much extra money is in hand.
Yeah, it's only 4, sadly. Like it looks like it's more than 4, but it only ends up practically being 4. But this is like very possibly a double province turn for Mick.
Yeah, I think. There's also a scenario where.
Turn, which
Well, we'll see what this looks like.
Ooh, trash a copper here?
I don't know.
think so.
It's going to be some situations where you think about just sort of trashing mining villages to be able to keep provincing. I don't know.
Yeah, so
Like
not
right
trashing
here.
not trashing in this exact case. We found it what I think is the last copper in Mick's deck.
Banish the oh no. Oh, we trashed the mining village.
Could've... Yeah. I mean... this is still pretty up in the air.
Yeah, I think Mick's probably a little bit more on the clock because Cider has time to power up vineyards if needed.
I normally want to root for the player that didn't make that didn't miss the win or whatever. But the thing is, they really both made equally bad mistakes right back to back. So, I don't know who I feel like deserves to win.
I assume we're playing Church, Cavalry, Leprechaun, and it's just a question of what we're buying for Cider.
Banish?
Yeah.
For 1 card?
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like another Church must be better.
I don't know about that.
And...
He looks like he's going to buy a duchy, yeah.
Huh. Just to make sure you have a points lead?
I don't know.
I mean, I think... I don't know. As Cider, I was thinking that you're not really gunning for the provinces given that time's on your side. I don't know. A 3rd potion I don't think I like. That's too many potions. But it could even be an engineer there to gain... No, that's too dangerous because then Mick finds that postpones. Never mind. I think it's Cider. I want to be putting more actions in the deck given the whole vineyard situation. But that's not a good way to do that.
That's why I wanted the Church, because I feel like they've got multiple potions, so you want churches to be able to smooth that out if you can, if you draw them together. So you can get, if you happen to draw the potions together, you're in a lot of trouble. Because then you have a whole rest of the shuffle without seeing them.
So does he buy an engineer here, or is he never going to see it?
I'd say
Just buy a church.
church here.
Yeah.
It's also safer. With the outpost thing,
does he?
2 engineers is a real threat.
Who knows where he is mod 3 on his actions?
I know where he is mod 3. When he played that last horse, it went down, and then it went back up when he played the cavalry. So he's 1 above, or now 2 above with the church buy.
So
next one will.
So if he buys an engineer, it will bump. For example, here, assuming he wishes for an action or doesn't play the wish.
Right.
Yeah, but wishing for potion just makes sense at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. There's a Big boy vineyards.
Yeah, so Mick needs to double province again, it looks like, to stay in this game.
Mick's just gotta get all the
Cider can't
provinces.
double.
That's the scenario here. As Cider, any consideration to just buying a vineyard? I don't think either of his outposts are down there, are they? Pretty sure they're not.
You mean holding the horses?
Yeah, just hold the horses because they're worth vineyard points. Drawing isn't going to get you to anything because you're not going to find your outpost. So best case scenario, you play a bunch of horses and gain them again. I guess, I mean, playing the horses gets you further through the shuffle to where you know your outpost is. Like you want to trade that shuffle at some point to get back to the outpost. But I have half a mind to just buy a vineyard here and save the horses.
I think it depends on what Mick does. If Mick can get 2 provinces in this turn, then, you know, Cider might just want to play to buy the last province.
So this potion...
If they play too many horses, then their vineyards tick down and the last province might not even be enough.
Right. Yeah, like, as is, this potion would take you up to 50. That for 7?
Yeah. And again, I had mentioned this as it was happening, but neither player having left an engineer in their deck feels bad.
Yeah. How many villages does Cider have? In his down below.
What was the split? I don't even remember. There's a lot in the trash.
It was even, I think, at some point, but
I mean, Mick trashed one to buy the last one, right? But
As Mick, I would sure love to find a church here. There we go. Also, the trashing the mining villages is beginning to look significant.
well, I don't know that the game lasts long enough at this point.
I was looking at all these terminals in this hand.
Yeah.
This could potentially be a double province turn for Mick. Looks very doable.
I mean, it's if he's willing to trash some mining villages or what, it's definitely a guaranteed double if he wants it to be by setting aside 3 golds or whatever and doing whatever it takes to buy.
And even wishing for duchy or something, you can still do that, or potentially save the wish for the outpost turn.
Yeah, if he was trashing the mining villages, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what's down there, additional treasures, but if there's at least 2 money down here, then that's double on its own. Or if you wished for a gold. I don't think you want to do that, but you can make this double that way.
It feels that he will need to wish for a duchy at this point.
Let's see.
Yeah, so church aside, 3 provinces, church aside, province, and 2 golds.
So there's, I believe, a copper down there, and
Outpost, leprechaun, wish.
I agree with Shat.
Oh, I think there's a gold down there, right? Because Mick's gained 5 golds. I don't think he's trashed a gold. Yeah. So now I just wish for duchy here and set aside 2 golds, and you'll hit province next turn, or outpost turn.
And I assume playing the leprechaun must be better than playing cavalry here.
Yeah.
I guess if there's not a a mining village in those bottom 3, then you kind of want to church aside a cavalry, for example, to play next turn.
I kind of don't think
if you're not triggering the shuffle.
So I'm pretty sure there's a gold down there for Mick.
I'm pretty sure Mick has 3 cards in play.
Yeah, Mick has bought 5 mining villages and trashed 3, so this is all of their mining villages. So setting aside a cavalry in addition and 2 golds, and then
I don't know what the
rest
last
I wanna
card
set aside.
is. I think the bottom 3 are copper gold cavalry.
And I would advocate setting aside 2 cavalries so we can trash a couple.
Oh, he set the church aside.
That makes sense. He's not going to trigger this shuffle, so there's no value to him in setting aside a bunch of stuff for this next hand.
I mean, that, yeah. I mean, I like playing the Leprechaun. That wish, you might get to play that wish.
I wish 4 province banish was on the cards because that looked so juicy. I don't think it's at all worth it at this stage in the game, but just having 4 provinces in hand and a banished kingdom would be hard to resist.
Is there a world where we?
I think Mick played this turn well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see what Cider can do.
So Cider has lost vineyard points this turn.
they're about to go up again.
But Mick has win in hand then.
Yep.
Yep, it's just a win.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Cider was so hasty earlier that turn when the piles were so low.
And it didn't even require drawing any cards. It was just the 5 cards in hand to start the turn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm equally surprised that Mick just left it like that.
Game 1 goes to Mick.
Yeah. A little bit of a stumbling start to this
we got
series.
Trail. Fun new card. We have Clashes
Trail Apprentice
as well.
has got to be good.
too. Oh, how does Warlord interact with Trail? So if you trashed a third Trail with Apprentice, you just couldn't play it and it would stay in the trash.
No, it's not from your hand.
Oh, that's how Warlord works.
Yeah. But if you
From their hand, I see.
Yeah, but if you like start your turn by trashing a Trail with Apprentice or whatever, then that still counts against the trails that's in play, whatever, right? So like
Yeah.
I remember when like one of the first times I had a kingdom with Herald and Warlord, I thought, Heralds can play each other not from the hand, so I can totally get a bunch of Heralds and I'll still be fine. But the thing I wasn't able to do is stack my deck.
Yeah. A similar situation here with Royal Galley. Like you could play 4 merchant guilds in a turn by gallying them all on a non-warlord turn, and then playing them not from hand.
How does that work?
But then
On a non-warlord, yeah.
But then it doesn't work with Warlord because you have to first get them into play somehow, which require playing them from hand the first time.
Yeah. But I mean, Apprentice Trail does seem like a pretty great interaction.
Yeah.
Cider with the Royal Galley open. One of my games was against Cider this season. He opened Royal Galley Silver, and I thought it was.
That's a funny open. I like Royal Galley open sometimes. I feel like it requires a higher value.
It's not a stop card.
I think you need a higher value $3 card to make that work. Like there's no payoff here to colliding them.
Yeah, I think I would have just opened Battle Plan Silver, probably. I'd really like to get an Apprentice.
And it's less than
Merchant
50
Guild.
that you collide with.
Wow, wait, what happened there? Mick opened Merchant Guild.
A Merchant Guild Astrolabe, is that a thing? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
Wait, Mick has 2 Merchant Guilds. On turn 4, Mick has 2 Merchant Guilds and no Apprentices. What is happening?
We're about to find out if Merchant Guild Astrolabe is a real thing or not.
Did
I think the answer
Wait,
is no.
how is it a thing? How could it be a thing?
You play your merchant guilds and you buy a bunch of coppers.
Is it possible that Mick thinks he has 2 apprentices in his deck? Right now?
So I mean, maybe like merchant guild masterpiece is a thing. That's a $3 treasure.
What is MG Astrolabe? Like, I need to know what this is.
We're about to find out.
We just buy all the coins of the realm.
I haven't been playing very much since any of the second edition cards came out. Like I've been cutting way back on my Dominion lately. Right. So maybe there's this thing I don't know.
So new Merchant Guild does have some really strong new synergies. In particular, Merchant Guild Masterpiece is now apparently really strong. I don't think, to my knowledge, that Astrolabe... There's also Astrolabe Guildhall is a new, pretty strong money deck. And maybe Mick is combining those two in a novel fashion.
I mean, I sure want to have deck control here.
Yeah, like the problem here is, like, if you both build, the deck's gonna be a little bit sad because, you know, that's just what Warlord does. But if you don't build and you just play Merchant Guild and Astrolabe every turn, your opponent has free reign to build a really big engine here.
It seems like nothing about this board makes me think that it's not what a typical Clashes board is, which is sort of like everyone building the Clashes deck.
I agree.
I mean, it's turn 7. I have no idea what the deck Mick is building is.
I believe it is Merchant Guilds and Astrolabes.
But as long as I don't know what that means. I don't know. How does that deck do stuff?
Well, you play the Merchant Guilds, and then you buy Merchant Guilds and Astrolabes.
Who has an apprentice?
I'm going to guess it's Cider. It is Cider.
Why did we Royal Galley the Archer?
Cider has an apprentice.
I mean, Royal Galley on Battle Plan would be better.
I would think Mick would have some interest in winning the championship. to the comment about him having fun.
Well, we're about to find out.
Mick has won a lot of championships, right?
Now he can't make you discard. Now you still get to play a Merchant Guild.
Somehow my dream is revealing 4 trails when they play Archer.
Wait, why did Mick discard a Merchant Guild to Archer?
There were 2 Archers. Oh.
But Mick revealed 2 Merchant Guilds. You should have not revealed a Merchant Guild.
Why not?
Well, so... I'm confused.
They would just... They're always... Cider's always discarding.
Oh, I see. Sorry. The detail I missed was that Mick has a coin of the realm down. I was like, well, there's terminal collision. But no, Mick would have just called the coin of the realm and that would have been fine.
The turn 1 coin of the realm?
Yeah, way back when.
Doesn't the Merchant Guild Astrolabe deck need to be able to get multiple Merchant Guilds in play and buy multiple cards per turn?
We can do one of those things.
There's just zero explanation for Apprentice not being the first 5.
Like, even without... Like, Warlord won't affect this deck, but Archer alone is kind of significant here. You're just never going to get these 2 Merchant Guilds in play together. One Cider's got deck control. Looking pretty close, too.
Let's get another appearance.
Territories get up to 5 points here pretty easily.
If Mick got this turn, 2 Merchant Guilds down and 5 buys, that'd be a lot of coffers, but he's going to get hit with Archer every time.
Surprised the player with deck control is able to consistently get their attack in.
This game is a learning experience, is what this is. We're going to learn valuable information about the strength of Merchant Guild and Astrolabe.
Seaway Royal Galley. Is that crazy? No. Oh, he did it. It might be crazy, but we're crazy together.
I wanted another apprentice.
Mick's got 8. Province and 4 coppers. More Merchant Guilds and Astrolabes. Who knows?
Apprentice and Resign. Okay.
Yeah, it's highly variable. If they're consistently playing a Warlord every turn the whole game, then often yes. But sometimes you want to get like 3 of a key card, like 3 apprentices if you're doing some kind of apprentice gold stuff, just so you're always going to find one and then you draw one dead, but it's at the bottom of the shuffle basically.
Yeah, I'd say most of the time you're just getting 2 of each card of value in the kingdom is how Clash of games go, and then sometimes there's a card that's worth having 3, just to make sure you find it at the top.
If you're
Even if it
doing
means you can't play the third one.
village smithy, I can see adding in 3 villages and 2 smithies against Warlord, just because you need to find the villages. Although Warlord increases your search space quite a bit.
Warlord is, I think, in contention for
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you
top
also
5
want to
cards in the
play.
game easy.
You also want to play for like somehow shutting your opponent out of getting a warlord. Like, you want to not miss the opportunity if that happens to present itself.
So Mick got a province and Cider bid 10. Which seems pretty low.
Yeah, Mick let him have it too.
Like, Mick's build in this game feels like it might be what you would do if you didn't notice Apprentice was on the board. Maybe.
Yeah.
Cider's trashed 2 cards.
I could see doing something Merchant Guildy without Apprentice. Maybe.
You could, yeah, but like Apprentice is there, and Apprentice is not a bad trasher. I'm just really confused. I think I would have wanted my first 2 5s to be Apprentice, probably, or maybe like Apprentice Merchant Guild Apprentice. I don't know why Cider only has 1 Apprentice. Definitely don't know why Mick didn't get 1 at all.
Yeah, like Apprentice seems great here because once you finish trashing, you just add some trails, and the Apprentice is a great draw card.
Yeah.
And a village, actually. Apprentice trashing trail is a village effect.
Mm-hmm. Not that you need much of that, really. But, yeah. Because you're going to have a couple Royal Galleys, which is a village, and you're probably going to have a coin, just because it's nice to have coin.
Yeah. This could even be a merchant guild for Cider.
I think I want a trail.
6 is awkwardly low number for all the things I'd want to consider buying.
Yeah, the reason I don't quite want to trail yet is I would like to apprentice a few coppers first.
I mean, at some point you'll be like Royal Gallying your apprentice and starting each turn with apprenticing a trail, hopefully.
Yeah.
You've got the Warlord for reliability for that kind of thing.
This game is beyond lost. Like we're turn 13, 1 province has been bought. Cider says all the time in the world to get all the islands and territories and duchies. He's even got the mountain pass VP.
Yeah. This does not seem like the deck. I don't know, Mick wants to build. You want to get 1 shuffle off where you get a bunch of astrolabes and merchant guilds in play 2 turns in a row, and you buy a bunch of coppers and have so many coffers you province out. But we've just not come anywhere close to doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if something like that is the game, then you're probably first trying to get a little bit of deck control so that you can set that up.
Yeah, Cave just joined
with
and
apprentice instead of merchant guild.
Cave seems confused why Cider is skipping the Merchant Guild Astrolabe combo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Cave, no one has any idea why Mick didn't open Apprentice and then why he got 2 merchant guilds right off the bat.
Well, Cider decided the merchant guild combo wasn't going to be good, so...
What did he do? He trashed it?
Trashed it immediately.
I mean, he really can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So now I believe in apprentice.
No, just get a trail and a merchant guild.
I want more plus buy
trail.
here for sure. Trail merchant guild sounds good.
That was, yes. Cider did bottom deck a lot of their draw. Although, honestly, they could have just played the cards in hand and had a fine turn too.
Galley seems good too.
We're gonna get some more coppers and.
Well, Mick is winning.
I don't think so.
they've got an astrolabe in play, right? If they were to somehow able to get both merchant guilds into play and buy a bunch of coppers.
Oh yeah. On top of
Oh,
everything else,
Mick's
Cider
gonna
doesn't.
get a double merchant guild turn.
Yeah, the turn 1 coin of the realm finally seeing some action here.
Get it?
Turn 14.
Well, in a strict sense, the coin of the realm, just by being on the mat, helped Mick earlier when he revealed 2
I don't know
merchant
why.
guilds.
Why does Cider not have a trail? Why is it that was the time to get a trail?
Yeah, I would have preferred trail last turn. He went with galley, which I mean that's fine. But if that galley had been a trail, he'd have been much happier.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, where's his apprentice?
All right, here we go.
Oh,
Big turn
okay.
incoming. 8 coffers.
Well, I mean, I think there have been a couple of times Cider could have trashed coppers, and I don't know, like, Mick doesn't seem completely out of the game from this current game state. I think
No.
Yeah,
Mick
I
has
don't
really run out of the
I
ability
still
to buy
don't think Mick has
provinces.
any chance of winning this game.
The 13 VP lead and the 8 coffers, it's not quite enough.
I'm just looking at the territories and the islands. Like, you remove the alt VP and Mick has a chance.
There's so many, yeah, the territories are worth 5 each, right? You can buy, like, Territory Island and then set it aside, and you're even gaining a gold you can feed the apprentices with.
Maybe Cider accidentally trashes his whole deck with Apprentice.
I just really want to see Trail get bought.
Nope. Cider does not like Trail. It's a lovely card.
I assume it's Mick, you just click province. I don't know what else you do.
Maybe he can get an apprentice now and thin down a little.
Astrolabe.
Mick has bought 9 coppers in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Just checking. Why did we not Royal Galley the battle plan?
Yeah, I likewise am somewhat confused by Cider's choices of what to Royal Galley.
I mean, I realize you want to play the Royal battle plan at the right time to see an attack, but
Yeah, if you were gonna be Royal Galleying your terminals, you for sure should have Royal Galley the Archer. I think playing the Archer every turn seems pretty important.
when did Merchant Guild recently changed to not have a line anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Royal Galley Merchant Guild does work the way you want it to now.
This is true. Yeah, if Merchant Guild still had the line, then Galley Merchant Guild would stop Merchant Guild from being in play the turn you did that.
Ooh, that'd be no fun.
So I'm just gonna build up, keep adding merchant guilds and coffers, and then out the provinces in one big turn.
Well, probably not to... I mean, actually, Cider might even be able to win in provinces, but I'm looking at territories.
They are kind of adding. I mean, they're thinning a card, they're adding a galley and 1 stop card each turn, so their deck consistency in theory is staying the same. And they're adding more buys and coffers every turn.
Yeah, I still want a Trail. That's a lot of draw.
Same.
It's also just pretty.
It is nice art.
Yeah. But I've been playing Wingspan, where the goal is to add pretty things, not necessarily win. This is Dominion.
You and I have different strategies for that game, Lemonspawn.
Yeah, I mean, I always win if my goal is to look at pretty birds.
Yeah. My goal is to spam cheap birds. You're trashing the Astrolabe here. This is kind of what happens when we... I mean, I guess if we cantripped the battle plans, we could just draw these stop cards that we set aside, but...
Trashing that Harbinger seems a little sad. I mean, what if your deck had a trail in it? You might have been able to just...
I think the trails are not going to happen this game. Who knows? I say that, and then maybe it'll immediately happen. And this is what happens in a deck with 23 coppers. No. 7, 18, 20 coppers. So that I think, you know, Cider buys 3 cards here. They get 12 more coffers.
I would like
just
some more apprentices and trails so you can justify buying more cheap stuff and then trashing it.
Apprentice, trail, Royal Galley or something, and then you've got...
I'd probably look to shell out most of my coffers here. You'll get them back.
Oh yeah, so like Harbingers. Yeah, so like 2 trails, Apprentice, Galley.
Something like that. Maybe one more Merchant Guild in there.
I mean, it seems like he just doesn't see trail.
It also like doesn't seem... I mean, at some point they do have to buy profits, right? But... Or you just say, I'm not going to buy a province until the last one and buy, like, Territory Island.
I mean, what if Cider just doubled here? Oh.
Double gets them to 20, Mick gets a province, they're at 31. That seems a little bit dangerous if Mick has a good turn.
What does a good turn look like? I mean...
Merchant Guild and 2 Duration, Astrolabe, and 3 coppers. I mean...
Yeah,
drawing Merchant Guild and 4 coppers with an Duration Astrolabe can get you to 2 provinces over 2 turns, I think, is Mick.
These 2 apprentices would look fine if the next 2 buys are 2 trails.
You buy the first trail and don't activate it, and then you buy the second trail.
I like that idea.
I mean, this right here works, right? He just gets all the provinces now.
We have only 1 Merchant Guild set aside, though. 1 Astrolabe, 1 Merchant Guild.
No, I mean, Cider just wins right now, right?
It does not seem like they're guaranteed to draw.
If Mick takes this province, he'll be at 33. Cider needs to score 26 points, which is 3 provinces and a duchy. That seems pretty doable.
Mick needs to, like...
No, that's not 3 provinces and a duchy. That's...
3 provinces and 3 duchies.
3 duchies. Does he have 6 buys? He probably has 6 buys.
So 3 provinces, duchy, territory, island is... Okay, it's the same cost, but... I'm pretty sure Cider was not guaranteed to draw here.
Huh.
But they are...
They're winning here now.
Do we have enough buys?
Royal Galley is Seaweed, so...
Yeah, Royal Galley. Every Royal Galley is going to give enough buy. So 24, they need 39 money, and they've got that in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So Royal Galley, Merchant Guild, plow the coppers, and they can buy 3 provinces, 3 duchies. One assumes they did this math before they... I think with all these coppers, Cider had somewhat of a risk of a dud this turn.
Yeah, you said one assumes, but I was trying to... I wouldn't assume anything these days from what's going on. They've been doing a lot of things that surprise me.
This is going to be a very confusing Archer play.
So yeah, like Cider had a few extra turns easily here because they didn't need to win on provinces, but they beat Mick without even needing to dip into the LVP.
Has the client lagged, or is Cider actually now counting?
I mean, you don't want to...
Double check.
Okay. It just seems pretty late in the turn to be counting from my perspective.
All right, game 2 to Cider. Somehow managing to overcome the odds and defeat Merchant Guild Astrolabe. I feel like 5-2 is a nice start there.
I thought so. Yeah. I wanted to open Apprentice.
Yeah. All right, we got a new one.
Collection. I don't think I've played with collection yet. Maybe one game.
This is interesting. The only village is exploration.
Doesn't go very well with collection.
It does not.
So you got Hunter and Wishing Well for draw. Those both seem like pretty good cards to have. You think Taxman's any good?
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. What's your terminal? Maybe Tormentor.
Dismantle might actually be the best terminal. It just gets you thin.
Yeah. Charging Copper looks pretty good. Imps seem good, but it's going to be hard to get them, I guess.
Improve isn't the terminal long term. Improve is the thing that blossoms
Yeah.
into a beautiful terminal the first time you play it.
I love Improve.
We can also open on 4-3. I guess they both had 3-4. You can do exploration stuff.
Yeah,
It's like
I was thinking improve exploration, but improve plot seems good as well. The benefit of exploration first is when you buy a plot, you'll get an extra villager, and villagers seem highly valuable here. The benefit of plot first is, it's banking up for longer.
we're looking to get some collections in play and just gain all the cards that have plus action written on them.
And
So
some of those might end up
collection-
being groundskeepers, which then becomes an extra source of vault VP if the cheap actions run.
Improve works with collections. That's not a huge thing, but on this board anyway.
Another dismantle.
Another dismantle.
I assume we have a dismantle and then we play and improve and we gain another dismantle. I guess you play and improve once and then gain a dismantle later.
There goes the Taxman. Groundskeeper's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Looks pretty good. Oh, who got... Yeah, I like the Tormentor.
So getting exploration first means that the turn you buy Splot, you activate the exploration, which is nice.
Yeah, I like the Tormentor, and Emperor 2 will be really good here, because you need draw.
Yeah, really, yeah. How about that Raider?
I think Raider probably won't get gained here, because just comparing versus
The
Gold,
situation...
it's a lot worse with Hunter.
Yeah, the situation where Raider gets gained to me seems like someone realizes that they don't want their Tormentor in their deck anymore.
Yeah, I expect to see either a Gold or a Raider come of the Tormentor, and I think given that Hunter is going to be your main draw, I would choose Gold. Because Hunter revealing Raider just does nothing. It is not an action or a victory card or a treasure.
Hunter is Hunter's name, I feel like it should have some name, just like Jester, or something implying the fact that it can do really amazing things to you sometimes. I guess maybe it's like sometimes hunting doesn't go very well.
Mick
classic.
Had some of the worst Hunter, as DZ said. Mick has had some of the worst Hunter draws. Like they reveal 3 coppers and then 3 estates and then 3 action cards, and it's like possible.
Hunter revealing three action cards. I mean, remember when the set came out, all the Hunter reveals 3 action cards. Like, before playing with Hunter's like, wow, this looks so good. Reveals 3 action cards. Oh.
But
it's also
Mick
sad
did
with
that,
curses.
and then they revealed 3 coppers, and then they revealed 3 estates, and it was just like you couldn't, Mendel's demon with Maxwell's demon couldn't arrange the cards in a worse order. It was one of the demon names. Someone who's a physicist can remind me.
But Laplace's demon could have saw it coming.
Yeah. So we got a Taxman to go from copper to silver to collection. So, yay.
Taxman's too strong.
assume Nick's gonna buy a hunter here.
Does Mick? No, Mick. Oh yes, never mind. I was about to say Mick needs plus buy. Oh, this is Cider's turn.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I'm talking about what Mick
Oh,
will
what
buy.
Mick will do.
Double well seems interesting.
Is Cider, I think,
or
collection
hunter
is clear.
or hunter well actually, I guess I would say.
Yeah, hunter well.
Another
he must
well.
do three wells.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's not so bad either. Yeah, I think a shitload of wishing wells sounds pretty great.
Yeah, there's nothing here that particularly synergizes with them. Like, you're going to have a diversity of stuff, but, I mean, they're not bad.
Mick's already got the extra collection, and running down the wishing wells does kind of, deny some amount of VP to your...
I think you'll probably get enough draw that you start shuffling into the stuff that Hunter discarded. Maybe there might be some that's like a really mild synergy there.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, I think that the card I most want is I would love to have a lot of the hunters.
Yep. Hunters and collections.
Where Mick just gonna take double wishing well, I guess, because
double wishing.
One hunter seems a lot better than one wishing well, but
I think I'd buy a hunter
two wishing
here.
wells. Yeah, if Mick had gone Hunter Wishing Well last turn, they could have gone Hunter Wishing Well this turn as well.
Third collection is a lot of collections.
Yeah, that feels like his deck doesn't support that. Like, I just want to be getting this. Yeah. That I mean, I haven't played a lot with collection. You can spam them more than you could goons. I mean, I always thought you want the first goons right away, and I usually thought I saw people buy their second goons too early. Collection, I guess, is a little bit different, but because it's not terminal, I don't know. I kind of want to control my deck here.
Here you have a kind of similar dynamic, I think, where you need some number of collections for plus buy, kind of like you need a goons for the attack. But like Mick had 2 collections, which I feel like is a normal amount of plus buy to have in the deck at this point.
My head collection gives 1 coin because even at 1 coin, I'm still buying it most of the time.
I think it used to give 1 coin.
2 coins plus 1 buy. It's so this is Peak Dominion, right? This is A League. This is the championship match. How long does it take Mick to guess this last card?
Let's say 20 more seconds.
And is Mick, even in this match, the type to give up after 20 or 30 seconds, or are they gonna find it? They're gonna go through the log.
Ooh, we got it. Only 10 seconds. Well, 10 additional seconds.
I think goons, the other thing about getting first goons fast enough is if you can disrupt your opponent from getting their first goons. If you are attacking.
Yeah.
So I'm thrilled that goons has gone basically because of that. I mean, largely because of that.
The groundskeeper does have some value with imp around.
Yep.
Is one potential reason why Cider randomly got a groundskeeper. I'm imagining he's got imps on mind when he buys the groundskeeper.
We drew 2 imps with no actions this turn.
Yeah, exactly. The groundskeeper tried to avoid that and couldn't succeed. I like mixed position.
This is a great spot, by the way, for Mick. We drew into an action the imp could play. We got triple collection going on. This is a huge turn.
Top deck the estate, I would think.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like which thing, if I put it on top, is most likely to not collide with another of that thing when I play Hunter. And I think the answer is estate. Ooh, I didn't get it.
Even at the end.
Copper is not the choice I would have gone with for sure.
Hunter, Wishing Well? 4 Wishing Wells?
Wait, what would you have top decked?
The estate.
Estate. And then if you Hunter either draws it or there's 2 estates and discards it, you're fairly likely to have 2 coppers in those 3 cards. So
yeah, that was I think
even if the action is the least likely thing to collide, you really actively don't want to collide actions, right? You want to be able to play them both. This to me must be double Hunter Wishing Well.
I would concur with that.
we can draw a deck with that many hunters and wishing wells, I think, and then get these 3 collections into play every turn.
Like, if you want more collections, that's what you got a taxman for. Uh-oh. Mick's got another bottom deck wish coming up.
If you're using the splot, then it doesn't matter what they top deck.
I see.
So, for whatever that's worth.
Although, why did we use the Sinister plot when just 2 cards? That doesn't seem like very good.
Yeah. Well, that saves Mick from having to guess. Although they had 2 really nice cards in those bottom 2.
Cider's still only got 1 collection and does not have a taxman. So I'm thinking Hunter collection. I'm also thinking Cider's way behind.
Yeah, really, really far way behind, I would say.
I'm going to get up for a second. I'll be back in a bit.
It certainly is a tough wishing spot at this point.
There's a chance here. So, with a good draw here, Cider could maybe win the Hunter split 6-4. And this is a game that could go kind of long. In which case, maybe that gets him back into it.
I guess. This is a very bad draw for Mick. They have a lot of actions, and Hunter is almost certainly going to skip over some actions down there.
I agree with Wandering Winder. I don't think playing the Tormentor there was worth a Villager. I thought you either just play the Tormentor and buy a Hunter, or do the Taxman thing, and either seemed reasonable. But playing both seemed odd.
Have we seen Diluted yet? We've not seen Diluted yet.
We haven't.
For whatever that's worth, Diluted could be a pretty big hit. In a turn where you have 3 collections in play.
Yeah.
I don't think the 6-4 Hunter split's going to matter because I think we're 3-piling on Hunters, Wishing Wells, and collections imminently. Like, this very well could be 2 Hunters and a Wishing Well for Cider.
And 200 seems automatic. And yeah, I think Wishing Well seems like a reasonable thing to pair with that.
You're out of villagers, so you don't want to get an improve, probably.
Well, you could just pass your turn here and get a villager.
So we get the first Hunter, we get the Wishing Well. Third collection feels possible, I guess. Fourth collection, or another collection for Cider, but I think the Hunter lets you play more collections. I say as they draw 5 non-action cards. Mick with the perfect Hunter draw, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a sad imp.
Yeah, and I think we just have to draw on given this set of cards in hand. We've got 10. We could just buy on our groundskeeper or something. Save the villager.
He doesn't even have a terminal down there, right?
I think there's another Hunter down there. Although I don't know that we want to trigger this shuffle. But Hunter and 2 Wishing Wells seems...
I like that.
Seems quite good. And that's a ton of victory points, right?
It is, in fact,
it's
1 ton.
12. And then using the metric victory point system, it's a TONNE of victory points. Yeah, that's a good question, Cave. Maybe you don't want to wish for Hunter there because you don't want to trigger a shuffle with all these collections out of it.
Let's see, how bad is that shuffle? Oh, I don't even... No, the shuffle's not so bad, actually, because the Famine discarded a bunch of draw cards into the shuffle.
So this one looks like it's gonna go to Mick here.
I concur.
We're running out of the wishing wells, so spamming action cards. I mean, I guess your last turn you can spam improves if you need to. For the money.
The piles are low enough that I think you're just lowering wishing well and collection as Mick. I was envisioning a scenario where once wishing wells run, you start buying groundskeepers for collection points, and then you can pivot into buying estates. But realistically, there's probably no scenario where that happens and piles aren't already too low for it to be reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, Mick is going to be able to hit almost certainly double groundskeeper here. Or
as Cider, I might just take the Tormentor here.
Mick is playing.
Oh, that's a good reason not to do that then. I was looking at Cider's hand.
I mean, so yeah, Mick could take the collection and buy 2 groundskeepers for 8. Or groundskeeper wishing well for 8. Mick has seemingly never hit a wishing well this game. But their hunters have been above average, I guess I would say.
Let's see. M wishes for... Oh, he got a copper on a second wish. He's batting 1 for 11.
In a deck with no thinning. I assume you take the Tormentor. You take the Tormentor here? Yeah, take the Tormentor in their collection, and then you can buy...
The copper was also the guaranteed wish. Mick's only successful wish was the one where it was deterministic.
Yeah, the one where he paused for 12 seconds. There was another guaranteed wish, but the famine struck, I think.
Ooh, that hurts.
Ouch. There still is a diluted, which is floating around, I believe, which can really mess with pile-out opportunities.
Well, Cider's diluted won't hurt Mick too much, I don't think, because Mick just buys a bunch of collections.
Mick take two collections right now and just pop the Splot next turn and win.
I like the idea of buying 4 improves, and then you just got enough of a victory points lead to win on collections over like 2 or 3 turns.
I mean, Mick does have the 3 Splots, so they can one of these turns have a very big Splot go off next turn or the turn after.
Yeah, I think I'm down with 4 improves.
What is Cider doing if Mick buys 2 collections here? How is Cider scoring 15 points?
2 collections also seems fine. Yeah, there's no way Cider gets 15 points. Well, Mick thought that 2 groundskeepers was reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't...
Okay, but if you look at what was at the bottom of Mick's deck plus this Splot, it seems like they were in a good spot. I'm still like terrified of diluted next turn, where Mick can't do anything but buy collections. But
yeah, I mean, I think Mick's totally won anyway. But I liked the plays that accelerate the end of the game from Mick's position.
Yeah,
This looks almost over.
I mean, I guess
are
the
correct.
thing is Mick has the Splot advantage right now, so they can kind of play it even and build the Splot up, and then if they get in a trouble, you know, they have a really bad dud or Cider that has some amazing turn, Mick can just draw a huge hand and start the turn.
Oh no! Well, with the taxman gone, Cider's back in this.
Yeah.
He just doesn't improve. He can turn into a taxman and gain a victory point.
Mick can resign safely after having their taxman trashed.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what one does Cider here.
That's a good question.
2 groundskeepers and improve and hope that somehow...
Yeah, as Cider, I'm thinking about trying to score the groundskeepers, I guess, because you can't take any more collections, I don't think, safely. I don't know what the question mark is. 2 groundskeepers and something, maybe nothing, maybe just 2 groundskeepers.
Well,
Dismantle.
Improve can be VP, right? With collections in play, but you don't. You kind of want to play the Tormentor. I don't see a reason for Mick to use the Splot.
Yeah, I think as Mick, I would save it for another turn.
Just because you have a guaranteed wish.
I presume that's what he's thinking about rather than the Splot, as he's trying to remember his bottom card.
You might as well draw one and see. I guess you could say what are the bottom 2 and then figure it out from there.
Here we go. Woo!
You know, Mick's good at this game. They just immediately.
Hunter strikes again.
Oh.
Mick just immediately knows it's copper. I mean, copper is the easiest thing to track because you know you have 7. This is troll level huntering right now.
The second hunter was really good.
Yeah, but the
first and the third. All right, so Mick continues his streak of only ever successfully wishing on the deterministic wishes.
Yeah, wow, there's a lot of coppers in this deck, I'm pretty sure.
Why? Okay, I guess we're going to lower groundskeepers and win that way as Mick, and that's fine.
Mick doesn't actually have that many coppers looking at it. They've trashed a couple with Taxman. At some point, maybe they should wish for wishing well always. But I just assume Mick draws 4 to start this turn and wins.
Yep. That seems pretty much guaranteed, close to it.
And Cider seems content to play it out to the end.
Yeah, I mean, hypothetically, your improve is like an action card that trashes for a VP, because you can trash it, or trashes for however many collections you have in play worth of VP, right?
Silver into a state.
23-point deficit. Yeah, silver into a state is. It's just that the point differential is so huge at this point that I don't quite know how.
So this is just 3 estates or something in prey?
Yeah. Cider has to somehow pile 5 estates
another estate
before Mick does anything at all.
Yeah, I think Mick can get 4 collections in play and buy 5 estates.
I think I like the 3 estates more than the province. It's both, I think, a bit more VP.
Oh my goodness.
But also,
Hunter!
You're lowering the pile.
And one of the collections also got discarded there. That was 2 pretty bad Hunter plays. Hunter draws
it's not,
in a row.
Nothing is close to as bad as the 3 action card thing. I mean, that's like it being a cantrip and you get rabbled.
Yeah. But the 3 action card and then the 2 collections together like pairs to be very, very sad.
It depends on the action cards. If it's skipping over some stop cards, then it's fine. Like if it skips your torment.
Yeah, I know, but when it reveals 3 good action cards, I mean, it's like way worse than a Pearl Diver.
I wonder if that's why Border Guard has the artifacts it does. So you get to be like, oh look, I got an artifact, and this totally wasn't sad.
This is still gonna win for me.
So if Mick hits a wish here, we're 1. Thing away. Yeah, Mick can play this groundskeeper and be very likely to find. I mean, this discard pile is a collection, right? And they're gonna draw deck, so and buy 5 estates. So yeah,
GG.
3 groundskeepers. We never did see diluted.
I'm gonna say, yeah, play improve.
You should have been drawing deck
groundskeepers. Ooh, we went with states instead.
The Taxman back just to.
Yeah, I would have gone with Taxman. All right, 2-1 for Mick.
2-1.
So Mick needs to win 1.5 more. Cider needs to win 2 more.
Indeed. Ooh, what have we here?
Guard dog.
There's a really good split you can have here.
Which would be copper, cursed gold, 3
Cursed
estates.
gold, 3 estates.
Yeah.
Mick might take the 3 estate banish on turn.
I don't think Mick's
Turn
gonna take.
2.
I don't think Mick's gonna take the 3 estate banish on turn 2.
You mean
The
3 copper?
banish. Yeah. Maybe.
I'm gonna
I don't
say
think
no.
I've.
That's just too little payload going into your next turn.
Just buy a Baron. Turn 2.
Yeah,
Puka looks good.
Mick's shuffle looks pretty bad. I don't like having the 2-7 split.
No.
And yeah, that's why I was thinking you get the banish, and then you buy a Baron, and then you've got
That banish looks pretty
bad.
If you could do both of those,
Yeah.
that'd be fine. But if you're buying the banish, you're not buying the Baron, and then you might not be buying the Baron for a while. Cider.
So you buy the Baron the next time you draw the Cursed Gold, but then you're taking another curse. So
Cider goes for guard dog.
our dog's silver.
There's a potentially very good draw here for Cider. Copper estate would be lovely.
Guard dog silver. I like. It's a variant on the classic moat silver.
Is
Not bad.
okay. I guess if you play Snowy and then Baron, and then Guard Dog can draw 4.
I mean, you've got Academy around.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, there we go.
Or you can play Nomads.
Cider got exactly the draw
or
he needed
Traders.
here.
Okay.
Cider already looks to be
Wow.
in a great position.
What's he even thinking about?
Yeah. Cider's clicking banish, and I'm as Mick just clicking resign now.
Cider,
Obviously not in the championship match, but
the hesitancy is
wouldn't.
worrying me. What else could you possibly be contemplating?
Horse traders never win.
you just buy a Baron and gain the estate back if you really want to do Baron stuff. But like Nomad seems
I don't
fine.
want to do Baron stuff. I want to
2
banish my
Nomads
estates.
seems better than Baron.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Cider came to a census.
Yeah.
Now do you banish the Cursed Gold?
Now I think I want plus buy, so probably Nomads. Could be Snowy Village since you've got a guard dog in your deck.
Yeah. Why not? I don't know.
Yeah, Snowy's not doing much, but
Yeah. I'm thinking either Nomads.
it'll do much. It'll do much the next turn once you buy another thing. You do want to try to get one reasonable size copper banish off, or get a Puka, right?
I was thinking Puka looks pretty good with
Yeah.
Academy around.
Yeah, I would get Puka eventually, for sure. Tis a lot of draw.
How are you really?
Cider to make a bad decision here.
Do you think at some point you're
Oh,
getting
he banished
treasures?
the Cursed Gold.
Do you think at some point you're using treasures? I mean, you're specialisting treasures.
I was thinking if you want treasures, your payload just hoard.
But like
Why not?
you know,
Banishing 3 here. We can banish 3.
I don't think we need to banish 3. Our deck is tiny.
Have a 5-card deck and then do whatever. Yeah, Academy's good.
yeah.
Yeah, Academy.
wanna be
I'm down with
specialisting
Academy,
hunting
then
parties for a while.
Nomads, and go from there.
And then specialisting Nomads. But
I
it
haven't-
seems nice to prevent you from ever needing to banish coppers.
Yeah, no specialist nomads and academy looks like something that works well together, huh?
Yeah, and then after specialist on your Nomads, your guard dog will draw 4.
I mean, another thing that makes your guard dog draw 4, right, is just specialist guard dog. Is that right?
Or even just specialist guard dog would make guard dog draw 4.
Okay. Yeah. I think I have.
Specialist. Oh, but But if you do specialist, 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 specialist guard dog.
I don't think I've played with guard dog yet. It seems pretty cool.
Wait, so if you did specialist, if you did what Shanahan said, would the guard dog draw 4 twice?
Yeah, why not? If you played it twice.
Yeah, you have 4 cards after the first guard dog play, so it'll draw you to 8.
Yeah. In fact, just 3 specialists and a guard dog would do that. Would do it, right?
Yeah. Plus, then you have all the actions you need for the turn.
One hopes.
So, who thought Cider was going to go Horde into Province and do just Horde money?
I mean, after he played Delve Money on that board on our last game, I don't know if anybody watched my match with Cider. He played this Delve Money thing on this board where I caught up with a deck that was playing 5 Tiaras on 5 Plunders every turn.
I didn't see that, but I distinctly recall, I think it was 2 seasons back, Cider versus N.A. Smith, where it was like some strong bridge troll engine, and Cider just played Delve Money.
Yeah.
It went about as well as you'd expect.
I mean, sometimes you just can't resist. Sometimes you just have a weakness for something. I mean,
Cider's weakness.
So when I said
Delve
turn
Money.
3 that Mick could resign, what I meant was Cider's kind of ahead by 3 turns on turn 3, and so even if the gold Horde money deck is slow, it has
I feel like the best way to
3
convert
turns slower than what Mick is doing.
you should. I feel I see Cider do this a lot, where he gets an advantage and then attempts, oftentimes successfully, attempts to convert the advantage by just getting an insurmountable VP lead. But it still seems like you should convert your advantage by building the correct deck here.
The specialist nomad thing seems really fun to play too.
Yeah. I would not enjoy losing to the money thing.
Why did he buy a duchy? What?
I mean, we're practically speaking nearing 50% VP.
A duchy does not make any sense to me.
But yeah, banishing 2 provinces seems great there. Mick, unfortunately, has had to take too many curses to hit the price points. That
Mick's just had the worst draws.
Puka, right? Yeah. And Mick has had some really bad luck, and I still don't think he's out of it. I mean, I don't. Oh man, just
So,
this
I think
shuffle-
Mick is dead, but
yeah.
Mick just has to spend a turn to banish curses and probably spend a turn to banish estates as well.
Cider to that perfect turn 3, and Mick had the like worst possible first few turns. I think Cider could have done just about anything and won this one.
Yeah, it was
Cider
FBA because
Does Cider draw 5-8-8 exactly in a deck that has 23 money?
that looks accurate. Yes.
That feels nice.
Yeah. Hashtag blessed.
Yes, just like Mick had to take a turn off there to banish 3 estates on turn 11, Cider banished 3 estates on turn 3.
This is some kind of league championship
I
match.
believe this is 50% VP here, unless I'm off by 1 or 2. But
This is what 29, 30.
There's no way.
I think I might be off by 1.5.
No, no.
because
No, if Mick gets all the
Oh,
victory
you mean if
cards,
he gets
Oh,
he'll
another
still win.
province?
if Cider in hand, he gets to 42, and the remaining VP is not enough to get there with the curses that Mick has had to take.
Not only that, but as we all know, Cider's gonna just keep drawing 8.
Well, they did add 2 golds. Two gold. Yeah, but the duchy made no sense, but it, turns out fine, obviously. Mick's gonna banish the curses now. One assumes.
I would assume so.
Mick also seems content to play this out from a lost position.
Yeah, I think these are 2 players that are both not keen on resigning.
I mean,
it's early morning for Cider, so it's morning for Cider. So presumably they've woken up, they're fully awake at this point, and they're ready to go about the day. For Mick, it's somewhat late at night, so I don't know, but
this game is like what Cider does. It really is. I mean, and I want to point out that Cider has so much better results than I, even when I'm on a hot streak, than what I do on the ladder. And so somehow a lot of this stuff ends up working out for him a lot. I think in some situations it seems like he sees things that I don't see when it comes to greening.
This just seemed like the Horde money deck is easy enough to play, and
yeah, I see him do that so much.
98. The win probability is at 98% no matter what he clicks on in terms of 5 and 6. Yeah. So, we are, by the way, to what Nerdbound and Kivers we are at 50% VP. Mick could buy every green card left in the pile and only end up with 41 VP. So as
he
Cider
just needs to smooth talk Cider into buying curses.
End turn. Cider just needs to click end turn until the game is over.
That would be a flex.
No, yeah, here's another 8 hand, so.
I've done that in ladder before, just clicked end turn for like 2 or 3 turns until my opponent realized. Said, what are you doing?
I like DC's version.
So that
you
can
know
Cider start banishing? Can Cider banish down to an empty, like, 2 golds in deck?
That would be funny.
So we're tied.
Indeed.
Going into game 5.
Which favors Cider?
Last season the match was not that close.
Cider does win in the case of a tie, so Mick needs 1.5 out of 2.
It's Mick's first player, so Mick has to basically, Mick has to win this game. I guess Cider would not take a tie here, probably.
Yes,
maybe they
Cider,
would going into their.
You definitely are very averse to ties in this scenario.
Going into their first player, though, maybe you take the tie. And if Mick,
what's the score now?
2-2.
It's 2-2. Okay. And Mick is player 1 now. Yeah.
Yes, tie is definitely better than a sure loss. I was just considering the ramifications, and I guess as Cider, you take the tie if you're offered a tie, probably. Well, Cider's going to be able to open Royal Galley again.
What we got here looks kind of straightforward. You got Bard for draw, Royal Galley for actions, C chart. Okay, draw. There's no good way to line it up here, but does pretty well duration cards. I'd want some C charts. Artificer, lovely as always.
Yeah, you can do a little bit of cemetery thinning, maybe a dismantle.
Yeah, barges. I want that early barge for sure to get some cemetery. Good cemeteries.
Yep.
Meanwhile, clicks on Scavenger.
It seems okay to me. I think Scavenger Silver is often better than Silver Silver. You get the high roll and you see it turn 3 and you're really happy.
And speaking of interesting opens to hit price points, a little bird told me that Courier Silver is 30% to hit 7. I thought that was an interesting tidbit.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Naismith and I have both done the math on Courier. It's like 9. Let me pull up. I can tell you what it is.
That's presuming you buy silver turn 3 if you don't see the Courier.
It doesn't actually matter, I think.
Well, surely it makes a difference.
But
in the Courier Silver turn 4 hand.
Yeah, you're 92% to hit 5 with that open, so it's a pretty nice open, anyways.
And probably pretty good for double 5.
Yeah. Well, if you see the Courier turn 4, it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember there was this one time, not too long in my memory, at least it wasn't too long after Nocturne came out. Mountain Village is in Nocturne, right?
Whoa, I don't
When
like
I saw Xerix open Mountain Village Silver, buy a 5 on turn 3, some good 5, and then play it on turn 4 by picking it up with a Mountain Village, and I thought, wow, what an open! Turns out that's not very easy to do. Mountain Village is not in Nocturne. Oh, Renaissance. Okay.
But that is after Nocturne
Yeah, I
came
opened
out.
out in Mountain Village Peasant today, and I'm like, this is gonna work out for me. It's like,
Did
no,
it?
I drew them both turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Then I did a little math on that. I was like, oh, yeah. But I mean, Courier, on the other hand, is doing something other than being a village. Having a peddler, opening a peddler is a lot better than opening a village.
Yeah, so Mick has gotten a charm, a barge. Cider's gotten a barge and a sea chart.
My guess is they'll have 14 or so unique cards at the end of the game.
I mean,
I feel like we need Royal Galleys at some point, but we also need cards to play them, so maybe you get an RD first.
I like Artificer here. Could also be Charm.
I mean,
I still really
Grave
dislike
Robber lets
Cider's turn to C chart.
Charm's a little awkward, but
Yeah, what do you do here as Mick?
Like-
Do you take like Royal Galley and something, or you just? I think you just buy a 5.
yeah.
There's no other 4 I want besides Royal Galley. I don't think.
You could get a pair of C charts. That's a little sad. Yeah, I think
We do
I'm
have
buying.
the infinite VP in this kingdom,
This is true.
right? Is that how
Any technical
Farmers
sense?
Market works with Grave Robber?
Yeah, you can just gain them back and replay them. I mean, you shouldn't, but you could. I would not be surprised if the Grave Robber gained here.
Mick's gonna get a nice trash. If they want 3 estates and a copper, seems wow.
I do want that.
Yeah, that seems excellent. Very excellent.
Normally, like 3 is the I'm very happy to trash 3 with Cemetery, and I'm really unhappy if I have to do 2. So, but 4 is kind of like it's really hard to pass up.
I think the main case where I would trash 2 cards of Cemetery is turning 2 estates into a cemetery in a kingdom with decent trash for benefit, where not only are you thinning by 1, you're also increasing the value of the, whatever.
Cemetery really is a delightful card.
I like Cemetery.
Nocturne's just full of great cards.
Nocturne it's very bipolar. It's got some of the most interesting cards in the game, and then it's got a few that are real nasty.
Like that vampire.
Yeah, like most of the boon and hex cards, I'd say, are probably some of the low points.
Needlessly hexy.
So Mick is. I wonder if Mick is thinking about Artificer Barge, and then take a ghost. That is what they're pausing to think about here.
Okay. How would you
Never
do
mind.
that?
You play the barge this turn,
And just hope to draw a bunch of
and
money?
you draw most of the rest of that deck is money.
You could draw
5
on
coppers
here.
and 4 coppers and Scavenger, but
Yeah, if you, I would draw now, and then if you hit the Scavenger, here you do Galley Cemetery and trash the mirror.
yeah, that's a nice combo. You can gain. See now Cider doesn't even need to buy a cemetery. He can just gain a Grave Robber and trash that way.
That's funny. Well, as Mick, you could deny that by not trashing your first cemetery.
I think you're willing to let Cider have to buy a Grave Robber and be very slow to.
Yeah, I like Galley Cemetery here.
Although,
Ooh, he's Willing to pass up on a free roll of galley to trash 2 coppers. I don't think I would have done that. Royal Galley seems like the next card you really need for this deck. Now you need villages.
Yeah, Mick doesn't have a lot of targets right now. I mean, there's not a lot of good targets for the Ghost right now either. I guess there's a lot of orange cards.
I mean, I felt people talking about Nocturne in the chat. I thought Nocturne was pretty cool. Liked some of the stuff from it. Kind of had ups and downs with how I felt about the Doom and Fate stuff. And then we had a little tournament called Nocturne Mix, and those kingdoms were just amazing. I mean, I want Nocturne Mix Part 2, just another Nocturne Mix tournament. It was so good, and it definitely converted me to a Nocturne stan.
That was different than the Noct tournament.
Yeah, no, the mix tournaments. So the Nocturne mix boards were so complex. They were just super cool and obviously full of Nocturne cards.
I was not around in that one, although the hand mix tournament for me was the one where JNails and I played a tactician scepter game with Way of the Owl, and we were village green. We were tacticianing 3 times a turn.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a great tournament.
I didn't do so well, but the kingdoms were quite memorable.
I liked hand mix a lot.
And Seaside, second edition mix. Actually, signups are closed when you're watching this, so never mind.
Is when you're like, there's a lot of people listening right now. Are signups already closed?
I believe they are already closed. Yes.
That's okay. I'm cutting back a little bit. I think my next tournament is going to be the next season of Dominion League.
And you finished one game out of
yeah, well, tied with Kazu. Tied with Kazu, we were a game behind Mick. Yeah.
It was a tight season amongst the top 5 players. The 6th player lagged behind, but the other 5 were all close.
I had a pretty good season. My first 4 matches, and I was a game up. I was really fortunate to do well against JNails, and somehow survived through the other ones. I think I played all right. And then I took a couple weeks off, and I was feeling really rusty when I played Kazu, and I played terribly, and I had amazing luck, and that's how I didn't lose that match. So it was 3-3. But like, Kazu really should have beat me like 5-1, and then he'd be in this match right now. But that's not what happened. It was bad luck for him, for sure. He also, it was bad luck for him. Plus, there was he missed a win in one of the games. But anyway, that's Dominion.
So at some point here,
Top
Cider's going to need to get a
Royal
cemetery
Galley here.
at this turn. Just thinking about just buying cemetery this turn. Gaining cemetery, Royal Galley with charm. Trash 3 coppers and 4 coppers.
I don't know.
I'm not sure that
coppers is gross. I want to trash estates.
I think I want to put this barge down more than I want. Or
we can also just play the barge now and then trash a bunch of estates that we draw.
Does he have another action card? No.
We can always. I mean, we need to trash twice, one assumes. So.
Okay, he's going for the cemetery. This looks fine.
You can over trash here, I think. Well, maybe not too much because of the Artificer.
You just have to have cards you can draw for Artificer to discard, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of draw. There's a lot of draw, but there's a lot of ways to use overdraw. So, I mean, there's one really good way to use overdraw.
C charts. Yeah, we have too many. We have too many orange cards to buy another Royal Galley, I think, is Cider.
Farmer's Market's pretty garbage here, right?
You probably want one of them at the very least for museum points.
I thought
but I mean,
worth something because you can dismantle the cemeteries into gold plus C chart.
Yeah, I could see dismantle being good.
So who do we think is going to win this game? I mean, whoever wins this game, it kind of. Well, I guess no. If Cider
if
wins,
Cider wins, it's close.
That's it.
It decides it. If Mick
Yeah.
wins,
Okay. So this is a pretty big game right now.
yeah.
Mick seems. I don't know. Cider has more value cards in the deck.
I think you just top deck a C
Mick is
chart
a lot
here.
thinner. Yeah, for the well, top deck is not meaningful, I guess.
If you top deck a
Top
C
deck isn't
chart,
meaningful with Scavenger.
I didn't plan on playing the Scavenger.
No.
I guess it doesn't
I mean,
make a
you
difference.
just
But...
scavenge and put it back on top at the end.
Yeah. You could do it in whatever order you'd like.
I mean, you're gonna ghost whatever, so you would actually. Well, whatever.
Yeah. So discard Cemetery for 2 coppers to C chart, and then Scavenger, and you can gain 2 5 costs. You can gain a Barge and an Artificer.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe a Barge and a Charm.
Bargificer.
Yeah, and maybe gain and play a Royal Galley next turn.
Who remembers this one game where there was Barge, Artificer, and Cursed Village, and tons of junk in all the decks, but it still worked out for Haka, like getting lots of barges down, having a huge hand, and then discarding a ton of stuff for Artificer, drawing up with Cursed Village. So cool. Because the decks were still full of junk, but it all worked.
Is that the one that was versus Nerdbound and it had Familiar in it?
That sounds consistent. Sounds familiar to Nerdbound. Yeah, that was Haka really impressed me in that game.
So
I remember him getting all these barges in this deck that had the Cursed Village and Artificer, and people being like, "Wait, Barge doesn't work with Cursed Village and Artificer."
So Mick just did a thing.
What did he do?
Mick intentionally top decked Cemetery to give himself a 50-50 at hitting Barge instead of C chart, which seems fine. I mean, it's more draw than you need, but
Just the Ghost stays out.
well, no,
You have an Artificer coming into play.
with 100% certainty. I think.
Oh,
Mick,
this turn,
Mick
this
just,
turn,
Mick
so
just
it
draws
stays-
twice, and that doesn't next turn the Barge because you don't want the Ghost to be stuck and play an additional turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you play,
I played a game in
I don't know that. Yeah.
Allies release tournament where my opponent played a Ghost into a discard pile that had a Lich in it. There was a 1 in 3 chance that they ghosted a Lich, and they missed. They got the 2 and 3.
and
And then I had the same spot, and I had a 1 in 4. I'm like, I can't risk the 1 in 4 of ghosting a Lich.
Lich was really cool
because I lost the game, but
I wish Student was a little bit better. Is kind of my main thing about the Wizard pile.
I think Student is fine in terms of power level. The thing that's tricky to me is it's a card that makes it hard to hit 4, but it's also the card that gives you the ability to get Conjurer. And so I'm often in the situation where like I play the Student and I don't want to rotate because my opponent will be the one to get the card before I do.
Okay, so somebody said in chat that they thought Cider didn't look like he was doing that good. That's not really that clear.
It looks close to me, I think. Well, I think Mick's ahead. Mick's got the Ghost already. That's a pretty big deal.
I mean,
but I was saying Cider has a bigger deck, but they do have more stuff in the deck. They've added more action cards.
even stuff count seems pretty good. Good old stuff count.
Now this turn, Mick is gonna be able to Artificer for 2 things. But probably gain 2 nice things with Artificers. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, having those galleys means that. I mean, they're sort of like ghosts. They're orange.
Mick's gonna be able to play Artificer and gain an Artificer, and then play that Artificer and gain something. Like they're gonna be able. Mick's gonna have some good stuff they can do this turn.
Oh, that's
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Cider likes Royal Galley. He seems to like that.
I'm thinking C chart. I was thinking if you want to do the charm for a 4, it'd be Galley Dismantle, and then you'd want an additional C chart. He just wants to do charm for a 5. That's fine too.
Artificer or Barge?
I'm a little worried about terminals.
So and what we're seeing for Mick is what we had mentioned. Like Mick's deck is so thin that they're actually losing draw here at the end of this.
One draw here at minimum.
Yeah.
Unless they Artificer first.
Oh, I didn't even notice they had an Artificer down. That does fix a lot of problems.
I'm kind of in on taking a Royal Galley here. Or you could also just take another Artificer.
Or with the Artificer, playing it twice. Oh no, never mind. That doesn't work.
The Artificer gets played once, and then the Barge is getting played twice. So we can discard 5 into Artificer and then draw 6. This also seems reasonable. I kind of want another.
I was thinking second Artificer, but Royal Galley seems good as well.
Yeah. Not quite. I guess Mick just wants to guarantee they don't bottom deck the charm. Makes some sense. Barge, Artificer.
I might get another charm.
I like additional charms in a C chart.
Although,
With a Barge or an Artificer is the 5.
I think not another Barge this turn because he doesn't have the Ghost down, and
he could afford to play both Barges if he does not play the Scavenger, which, I mean, you don't need to.
I just think I want another Artificer anyway. I think an Artificer charm. I want to be adding more payload, kind of aggressively, I would think.
Another Royal Galley.
How much money does he have here? Oh, well, I mean, yeah, if you
8. We could go. I mean, you could play both charms as gains and gain 3 5s in a C chart.
Yeah, I think that's what I'd probably do. I think I'd do charm, double Artificer, C chart. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this turn I thought Mick could have gained an Artificer off the first Artificer play, and then use that Artificer to gain the Royal Galley, and then play it. So to have 2 Royal Galleys in next turn, but have 1 fewer buy. Yeah, have less money, like not have these 3 coppers in hand or something. But maybe the draw doesn't quite work out to get back around to play all of this stuff.
So I think Artificer's good here, but it's hard to like really go ham with the Artificer gains. Although maybe having
other than on the Ghost turn, the Ghost Barge turn,
having a bunch of C charts is good. So Artificer can help you with gaining those. Once you have a bunch of those, that's pretty good. I wonder if this is the kind of game that you go as heavy as you can on charm. It's pretty pleasing to have a lot of charms and then be threatening to get like 8 duchies and stuff like that.
I would think that mini charms here is a good thing to have.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of board where that
2 charms here then.
I was voting for a C chart, 2 charms Barge.
So you just kind of don't care about the Scavenger right now.
No. I mean, if you discarded to Artificer, it's just like 1 coin instead of 2, and that's worth it to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're gonna get another terminal and you're to not play the Scavenger, why not make it be a Grave Robber, which trashes the Scavenger?
It's museum points.
I mean, it's only the museum points are only a thing after the game's over.
No, look at their score. Museum points are affecting it right now.
That's a fair point.
I wonder what life would be like if they just took the VP counter away. Donald X was like, "This isn't how it was meant to be." I mean, it isn't how it was meant to be, right?
I do like the VP counter.
I like it a lot too.
You can't take it away from us after this amount of time.
Templegate Games has, I think, the default mode is like a limited. Oh no, I'm confusing VP counter and the turn log, but they're experimenting with a less expansive turn
which is
log.
what Donald X wants to happen.
Yeah,
here, I think.
Yeah, we only see like the last few turns. Like
I come from a chess background, so if you say I have to track, and I've also played various card games where you have to track all these things in your mind, and like if you tell me in A League I'm going to have to track the VP total and I'm going to have to track the gains and everything, I can do it. Like I will dedicate my mind space to it, but the matches will take twice as long.
Well, in chess, there's no value in knowing the sequence of prior moves.
It's just, but I'm willing to sit there and think about a move for 10 minutes before I touch a piece.
I think
and I played. I was the fastest player in A League this season. I'm pretty sure. And we were the slowest division by a pretty big margin. So if you just imagine what these games would be like if the players had to track all this other stuff in their minds that they are capable of tracking, but it would just really, really slow the game down at this level.
Yep.
So what do we think for Cider here?
That's a good question. Is the Discord just the cemetery? No, the Discord is mini cards.
Looks like he doesn't care too much for Ghost.
Yeah, it seems like that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
On a galley.
The Ghost ship has indeed sailed.
Yes.
Mick is looking ahead right now.
Unless you ghost a barge or a rail galley, in which case it's kind of a ghost ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this game feels like it's ending in a turn or a turn and a half at this point.
Xerix showed me a cool game he played where he was haunted castle attacking every turn. He was like, "Take that, ghost ship being gone."
That's funny. Well, haunted castle is less bad than ghost ship because if you have a bigger hand, it still only hits.
Yeah, for a lot of boards, it'd be the same.
Also, there's a funny little loophole where if you have exactly 4 cards in hand, haunted castle does nothing.
This was an awful shuffle for Mick, by the way. Just absolutely awful. They bottom decked all of their actions, basically.
What's this ghost gonna hit?
March.
Well, here goes Mick just lowering piles, throwing caution to the wind again. I
don't think Cider can pile those. Maybe I'm wrong.
One loophole here. Grave Robber can gain the Haunted Mirror, right?
No.
Nope. 3 to 6.
Yeah, but
no. Trash an action card from your hand and gain a card costing up to 3 more than it. Oh, from the kingdom, right? Okay, so you can. Yeah. Great, Rob. I keep wanting it to work somehow magically.
Mick clearly knows leaving the piles too low is safe against Cider since he already left them too low in game 1 and Cider missed the win.
Oh, sick burn.
Well, so does Cider have enough gains for this? You need to gain like all of the C charts off of Artificer. I don't think Cider can pile this.
I mean, I don't think Mick took enough time to ensure that is the main thing I'm feeling right now.
Mick might have been pretty salty about that awful draw, though. That was pretty much worse deck order. They bottom decked Barge, 2 to Artificer's C chart. Like they draw deck in most permutations of that shuffle. They draw deck.
Yeah, Mick seems to keep a pretty even keel. Keep with the C theme. I mean, he'll laugh at it when he has a shitty shuffle, but he doesn't tend to get super tilted in game, or at least he doesn't seem like it. He pretty much always seems like he's just this.
No, sometimes he gets tilted, and then he gets like all introspective about it. He just talks about how tilted he is. I've seen that Mick before.
Click that turnout very fast. Even if Mick draws deck this turn, it's not clear that Mick wins next turn either, but maybe they take enough to make it.
I think Mick is seriously threatening to win this card.
What's left in Cider's deck? Let's see if we think Cider can win here somehow.
Hey, what piles are you emptying as Cider? Galley
Well,
and Cemetery? That's not...
Galley and Cemetery, probably.
Yeah, I don't think you got the gains for that.
They've got 4 charms.
So, like, you could buy a Galley, gain 4 cemeteries. Best, you Artificer for 2 galleys somehow. You're still 2 gains short.
Yeah, I'm not.
And then, supposing Cider doesn't lower piles too much, what does Mick win on?
That's what I'm not seeing either. Mick has those six charms.
I think there could be a scenario where Mick wins this turn. On probably Galley and Cemetery as well for Mick. Or maybe it's easier to do Cemetery, Galleys, and sea charts. Where it's just one cemetery to gain the galleys.
What does Mick do if Cider takes a couple of duchies here?
Probably plays on.
Empties the duchies.
I think you could empty the duchies, but I don't know if you could win while emptying the duchies.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. No, I don't think there's. I don't think. I was thinking that you use the Artificer to gain. Yeah, there's.
I think the Ghost is making a difference here.
But there's. Ghost isn't doing anything that the cards on the board can't do. I think the Ghost is good, but.
But it's doing him well.
Yeah. I think Ghost is a good card.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I'm going to go on the record for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering about a line of Cider. We just add some more stuff, plus add a province here, and then make it pretty tough for Mick to pile out on cemeteries. Cemeteries are worth 10 for Mick. Province is worth 9. Sorry, 8 for Cider. Yeah, considering lines where you discard like the 4 coppers to take a dismantle.
My guess is...
And dismantle the estate into copper gold, buy a province, and then you are enough points ahead that the cemetery pile doesn't win.
Another set of piles that's probably just a...
Yeah, Enclave is worth 7 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Enclave is going to be better than that. The first province, certainly.
No, I wanted to... Did he gain an estate? No. I wanted to count out to make sure you couldn't just, like, get all these states and see charts. I don't think there's enough gains for that.
Top decking Duchy is an interesting decision.
I mean... Is he going to take a lot of duchies right now?
Maybe so.
I just don't see how the deck stays together. Maybe it doesn't need to.
It doesn't need to stay together that much longer. But what is Mick doing here? He's...
So now can Mick win?
Yeah. I'm gonna say probably. I'm gonna say Mick maybe can get 3 duchies and the cemetery. Does that seem like a stretch? Maybe.
A lot of draw here. And
So how many charms does Mick have?
multiple.
Mick has 6 charms?
So the three duchies is worth...
I'm thinking about something
11.
like... Mick has like a grave robber, right?
Yeah.
grave rob something into artificer, artifice and artificer, and then buy a barge, gaining 3 artificers, 3 duchies. Is that enough points?
That's enough points.
He's probably low on points. So you need to sneak in some extra points there.
Yeah, he's going to be at 36 with just the 3 duchies.
I think has a spare barge, so grave robbing a barge into province. If we don't need that barge to increase hand size for artificers.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Mick will have the win this turn.
I mean, three duchies in a province plus somehow emptying another pile. That will be enough for Mick, right?
That extra pile is the hard part.
Somehow, yeah.
No. I mean, maybe he can just buy the rest of the sea charts. He might be able to do it.
Yeah. So I think I like grave robbing a barge into province. Then that gets you to 32, and then 3 duchies gets you to 43.
If we're turning something into province, I would think it's better artificer than barge. You
grave robber loses 2 points though. Yeah, you lose 2 points if you grave rob.
No, you don't.
No,
he has 2 artificers.
And like you want to play both artificers for money and possibly gains.
But I want to play the barge for draw.
It's the second barge. There's another barge in the bottom of the deck.
Do you think Mick is counting out whether he has a win without looking at all his cards right now?
It does seem to me that one will want to draw these cards first, probably.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could. I guess the idea is you'd probably like to play Artificer because you've got another one in there, right? Play it before the sea chart, but then you want to figure out if you have to somehow.
You could pretty safely play one barge here, though, right? I just don't see any line where you're not playing a barge to start.
I don't know. Great, you might need the action for grave robber. Somehow. But he does what you said. Do you guys ever... Oh.
I'm just trying to count. There's 6 charms, and there's 1 charm down there. Grave robber, barge.
It's enough gains, that's for sure.
So, getting 5 coins in play, and then 3 charms for gains, and then 2 charms for coins. If we just play 2 artificers and gain 2 siege charts,
that's a lot to discard there.
Yeah, but I mean,
it is a lot to discard, but
no, but those sea charts are kind of likely to draw, sort of, right? Maybe
depends on what you discard.
Honestly,
yeah. But I mean, you get to. Well, you don't get to play the scavenger first, do you?
I think the Artificer is as likely to draw the Artificer as the sea chart is to reveal it and draw it. Is that correct?
Yes, but what's the relevance of that?
We could play Royal Galley sea chart and then see if we draw the barge. Or we can Artificer now to gain sea charts and then Artificer discard Cemetery and 2 coppers to gain a sea chart and then draw on. Because 3 Artificers.
So Cider could just click the Make Resign button and win his 3rd league championship right now, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, I guess Mick did play some cards. I mean, but you're for sure right now doing like Royal Galley, Artificer. And you're going to see 2 cards before you have to make any big decision, right?
This is tricky because supposing you don't find a win here, then you want to set up for next turn, and presumably you'd want to do that by gaining additional Royal Galleys, but that's dangerous.
So if
I
we
mean,
play all
you
three
wanna-
artificers, scavenger, silver, that's 7 coins. And if we can just find two more cards to discard beyond those 2 coppers and cemetery. I'm not seeing what those 2 cards are. We can play the other artificers. We can discard 1 artificer, one of those sea charts, I believe. And we had another.
Does he have another artificer down there, or am I crazy? Yeah. Oh, he's okay. Can he just get 3 duchies and 8 estates?
Can he?
I mean, he's got the gains for that,
Let's see.
right? Each.
9
just imagine
buys.
I mean,
Yeah, is that enough points?
I don't think there's the money for that.
that's enough points. Yes.
8, 17, 21 points.
So 21 points would be enough, even if you trashed a scavenger or the grave robber.
I think what I was missing is Mick only has 2 barges. So there was a copper down there that I had thought was a barge.
So let's think about this estate duchy line. If you play all your charms for plus buy, you got
We got
13, 15 money.
How do we get enough duchies? How do we have enough money to buy
Yeah,
duchies?
the duchy part seems a little difficult. I don't think estate artificer or estate duchy is
This
possible.
bottom card of the deck we decided was a
Charm.
So if we gain a C chart,
So Severi thinks there's a win.
so we discard 3 coppers here, gain a C chart, play a C chart,
Enough Severia, enough money for the estate.
play an artificer,
for the province thing, I guess.
Discard cemetery. Should play 2 C chart, discard cemetery. I think if we just play 2 artificers for C chart, grave robber, this we can discard the scavenger, cemetery for the 2nd C chart, grave robber, the 3rd artificer into province, and then buy out the provinces and duchies.
Severia is saying
Did I
that.
hear you say buy out
gaining-
provinces?
Buy out C charts and duchies. Buy out provinces. Just get the 8 province line.
Severia's talking about gaining copper.
Why are we getting copper?
If
To get-
every
get more
artificer
money.
gains a copper,
How does copper give you more money?
we have it's +1 money.
But then, like, artificer discarding a card is 1 money.
You discard 0 to gain a copper.
So
But
Sean, did you say there's just a line that gets you the province, 3 duchies, and 4 C charts?
It might be off by 1. It's really tough to count. So I'm saying discard 3 coppers here to gain a C chart. Play an artifice. Play a C chart. Play artificer. Discard the copper you draw, the scavenger, and the cemetery, or another C chart. Grave rob an artificer into
Wait,
province.
what copper? How are you drawing a copper?
The C chart is drawing a copper.
How is the C chart drawing a copper?
Your discard pile is 3 coppers.
But it's not going to draw you a copper.
C chart. Oh, C chart draws C chart. So right, because it top decks. C chart draws C chart.
Also, it's not going to
C
see the
chart will draw
discard.
the
It's going to see the charm, which it also won't draw.
Yeah. So I think then it's 1 draw short. Mick seems to have it though. By what
He
they
has
just
it?
said.
Oh, that could also
Or does
mean
that mean he wants to check every line and see if there's anything there?
make sure he doesn't miss a win.
He's just considering all 14 million continuations.
Yeah. So if we discard 3 coppers for a C chart, we play 2 C charts. Okay, we play 2 C charts. 1 draws a C chart. 1 draws a charm. Then we play an artificer, which draws the copper out of the discard pile.
Mm-hmm.
Discard scavenger, cemetery, copper.
Mm-hmm.
Grave robin, artificer into province, and then we have 3 money, 5 money, and 5 charms.
Wait, why do you have... the 3 money is from...
artificer, artificer, the other artificer in the silver. It's 4 money then, and 6 charms.
Okay.
Um,
So you play 3 charms for gains.
yeah, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And then 2 for plus buy, but we've got then 10 coins, which is 1 coin short, 2 coins short, something like that. This is really tricky.
Let's see what line Severe is talking about. Artificer chucks Cemetery, Scavenger, and 3 coppers for Duchy, leaving 6 charms, a silver, and a copper. Wait, how does that leave a copper?
Or
If you discard 3 coppers, you're not.
one of the artificers is gaining a copper.
Oh, so
I think,
the first artificer gains a copper. Then we discard Scavenger, Cemetery, 3 coppers for a Duchy, and then you get 6 charms, a silver, a copper, sea chart, grave robber.
So regardless of if Mick is able to find it, obviously Cider took a very good line last turn.
Yeah, I like Cider's line.
I put it either to Mick is within 1 or something of piling it if they're able to get it, and yeah. Discard Artificer 2 coppers. Gain a C chart, play 2 C charts, just redraw the Artificer. Easy.
As Mick right now, I'm thinking about just like gain a barge and set it for next turn, and hope.
So many charts. This is the ghost turn though. Mick's next turn's not going to be.
Which is why I want to barge down.
Next turn's not going to be better than this turn. You know, copper, spend 3 charms for money, 3 charms for gain. Grabber, Cemetery into Duchy. Grabber can't trash Cemetery.
You can gain a Cemetery out of the trash.
Not sure what that does.
It scores you 2 points.
Yeah. We abandoned the 4-cost piles. Like if 2 artificers gain 2 rail galleys, well, there wasn't enough points, right, in those 2 piles. There's only 10 points in those 2 piles.
Yeah, it's not a lot of points.
It's tricky. I think the line, I was trying to get the C charts to work. You're short a couple of coins to buy the last 2 C charts.
I think.
But yeah, is there a line where you grabber an artificer into province anyways, just for the points, and then next turn to barge, or you can't next turn to barge and play grabber.
I think it's time to cut your losses, and
you wouldn't even need a cemetery.
Yeah, all duchies and estates is a win by 3 points, if I counted that correctly.
But I don't think we can do all duchies and estates.
Seems really hard.
If Mick can't win here, I think you want to gain and play a barge.
I think if Mick can't win here, he probably loses here, but I'm not sure.
I mean,
then we got to start counting.
They have set aside. Yeah, they've got. Cider's got set aside a barge, a scavenger, and
a
something
barge
that's hidden.
Oh, he does.
An artificer, a scavenger, and a barge. They also added 4 duchies, and a cemetery, they added 4 duchies, and a grave robber, which are all stop cards, but they're starting the turn with a good amount of draw, so they're likely to be able to add points next turn.
What's the winning line?
I think Kateri seems to think that estates is still there. I mentioned that
if each of these 3 artificers gains an estate, say, somehow,
there's enough gains that it seemed like it was a little bit enough money, not quite enough money.
And then we grab something into duchy, we would need 20.
Sorry, aren't the last 2 cards charm? The last 2 cards are charm and artificer, right?
What last 2 cards?
It's just charm now.
Wait, am I not looking at a refreshed version of the page?
I see one card, which is a charm.
Oh, I see 2 cards in the draw pile.
4, 5,
Okay, I just refreshed. Okay.
8, 10, 20.
So the last card is what?
The question is, do we have enough draw to do the thing we just said? So if we discard Cemetery, Scavenger for an estate, and then like play Sea Charts, play Artificer, I don't think we have enough coins. I don't think we have enough coins to get to 20 in that line. Unless we're buying a 5 cost, we're using one of the charms for gains, and then 5. So 5 money plus 3 charms is like Artificer with 3 duchies, and then you would need 4 coins from the 3 Artificer plays. The remaining 3 charms gets us to 10. But I think we're short. I think we have to discard too many cards to get there. I think we have to discard money cards.
About 3 duchies, 10 curses, and some cemetery. No, I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah, if we somehow had a little bit more draw, and actually the C chart did draw for Mick this turn that they played. We're back to the discard Artificer Copper and hope that C chart hits. I don't think that's particularly good. Do we even need to gain 2 cards? Can we just gain 2 estates with Artificers?
Let's see. Galley, cemeteries, and a province.
I could
Not enough points.
barely find a way.
That'd be a losing tie, right?
10 plus 8 is 18. Yeah.
Is it?
Maybe there's a curse at the end of that line.
Gain 2 estates with Artificer, then we would need 17 coins plus 3 extra charm plays, which is too much. Or if we grabber something, then
So if you use all the charms to gain
15
cemeteries, yeah, it's 6 money.
then there's a 6th charm in there as well.
Oh, the classic.
Province is 6 and not 8.
Yeah, that's a mistake that we all make when we start playing and then keep making from time to time.
Been there.
Yeah. Yeah, the curse seems like it should be important in a lot of lines, but...
Sorry, does Museum not make Province worth 8? Am I confused?
Yeah, it does, but I think maybe he thought it was worth 8 plus Museum.
Ah, okay.
I don't know. Kateri thinks the estate duchies is there. I'm a little tired. It seemed like there wasn't quite enough money, but I definitely didn't
I looked at it
count
a
it all.
second ago and didn't seem
I mean, I'm
like it.
counting it out, and I keep seeing us having to discard all of our coppers and then not having enough money at the end. I don't know what are the 6 cards that we discard.
Maybe there's something.
Kateri.
You try to get.
Yeah, we just have to discard 6 cards and.
Was there a thing where one of the things you discard is Artificer, so maybe you can draw it back with the C chart?
That's
So maybe
a
there's a
risk.
non-guaranteed. Maybe there's a non-guaranteed
Like a
one.
1 in. It's a 1 in.
Oh no! If you discard both Artificers right here.
You top deck the card, so the C
Yeah,
chart hits the charm.
Oh shit!
Yeah, you have to play it in Artificer.
I got very excited a couple minutes ago when I thought about that, and then I realized
I'm late to the party.
I didn't think Estate Duchy was possible. Yeah, so you don't discard with this Artificer. You discard Cemetery C chart for estate, drawing charm. You discard estate Grave Robber for another estate.
you discard. Oh yeah, because you're drawing estates every time.
Then you play the Scavenger. You got 10 money and 6 charms in hand. And you have 6 estates and 3 duchies left. So you need to play 3 charms for gains. And then you would need to have 17 and 7 buys, you'd have the buys, but you'd have 10, 16. So not quite there.
We discarded a copper in that line too, right? We discarded a couple coppers.
Not the line I was considering. I was considering discarding twice for estates.
Cemetery, grave robber.
So I was saying,
estate.
Don't discard the first artificer. Discard the second. Discard like estate C chart or something. You've already got the last charm in hand. Then you draw the other estate. Discard grave robber estate. Now you've got 2 estates, and you've got, I believe, 10 money in total. Then you play 3 trumps for buys. You're up to 16 money. You play 3 trumps for gains, and then that would be enough to gain 3 duchies and buy 5 estates. So you're just short. I think maybe there's a 50-50 line where you do the like try to draw artificer with C chart thing. Maybe that's worth it. Yes, I think perhaps this Cider's getting a little foot up. Mick has spent like a lot of time on this play.
We grobber to something into. We grobber C chart instead of playing scavenger. We
is a 50-50
play for gain, but we lose. Yeah.
Is a 50-50 good?
It's not even clear to me that it's good.
I'm not even sure if the 50-50 works, but it seemed like there was a line that was a coin short there, and maybe the C chart thing gets you an extra coin somehow.
This kind of situation where you have to spend all this mental energy calculating one thing when there's actually another thing you really need to be calculating, assuming you don't find it, which is what Cider can do.
Right. Yeah.
It's so exhausting.
Yeah.
It's so exhausting. I know how Mick feels right now. I've been there.
And there's weird stuff with Museum that makes all the math a lot harder. And if Nick doesn't have an answer, then they have to figure out how they can save the game in some other way.
So Mick didn't respond to Cider. I kind of want to see Cider just press the make resign button.
What did he say?
He said, "Hey,
hey,
hey,
hey."
This is like, I'm gonna go make some tea. I'm gonna get some breakfast. I'm gonna.
Oh man. I mean,
do some calisthenics or something. I don't know what one does as Cider here. You just sit and it's like Cider still has to, like, if Mick doesn't win this turn, Cider has to play out a fairly complicated turn next turn.
yeah, it's not. I mean, at this point, do people remember what's in Cider's deck? I mean, I think
Could be anything.
He's got 4 charms. He's got a lot of orange coming in.
3 barges, 2 artificers, scavenger, grobber, bunch of coppers still.
Then make his ridiculous rule. I mean, him taking all this time isn't as ridiculous as some of the stuff he's done earlier in this match, but
I a while back was saying it's probably time to start calculating your escape routes and plan for the next turn.
This is also too when you end up punting the game because you can't figure it out. You're trying to find it, and it's like, fine, I'll buy 2 provinces.
Yeah, exactly.
Cider just complain. Cider just buys 3 duchies and piles out some way next turn. In that case, like it's really tough to mentally switch over from. It's really tough to mentally switch over from I'm about to win this game to I can't find a win to now I have to salvage it.
Def would say, I don't know if you've heard, but I'm not a league mod anymore.
Rumor has it that there may be some kind of interview of Steph coming up, so feel free to prepare some questions.
Ooh.
Yeah, so for anyone just tuning in, I guess if Cider wins this game, then he'll be up 3-2, which he only needs 3 wins, so that would be a championship for him. So it's pretty high stakes for Mick right now, and he's been thinking for, I don't know, 15 minutes this turn at least. Trying to
this decision, I think, probably
trying to find a win that seemed all of us like
really, it does kind of feel like the balance of power of Dominion has shifted to the Japanese players in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Okay. Kateri thinks it wins for,
but is unable or unwilling to elaborate.
I don't think they're listening to me, but Okay, so Jerry's got $50 that there's not a win.
I've won money betting on Dominion stuff before, but I couldn't accept it morally because I would lose my amateur status, so I had to redirect the contribution to Dombot, I think.
Important to preserve amateur status. Nicholas.
I can't imagine Mick is just going over the same C chart.g cemetery rail galley. Is there a
I would guess that at this point he's probably moved on to figuring out what the best play is, considering that he can't find it. I don't think Cider can be honestly mad about this, even though it's really frustrating and hard to sit through all of it, because he knows exactly that if he were in the same position, he'd probably be doing the same thing. I mean,
I guess the other thing is now Cider
mad about it, but the only result is that you're going to play worse. I mean,
Cider is also perfectly able to take like 20 minutes in their next turn now too, though. So,
well, yeah.
like, for whatever complaints people have had. About,
oh, we got motion. Movement's happening. Did he find it? Lowering C chart sure looks like I think I've got a win.
He then immediately
paused. Like something you do if you have it, or even okay, he did something he knew wouldn't draw.
He immediately then pauses now, which is slightly
It's
concerning.
like, is this an oh shit, I forgot that went on top? Or
are we doing?
Well, there's nothing in the discard that he could have drawn. I don't think.
Scavenger.
Yeah.
Are they doing the Artificer, Grave Robber, Copper line, and then playing C chart?
If you gain some copper here,
I guess if you discard Artificer, Copper, Grave Robber, you do have 2 shots to hit with the C chart.
Is this going for some points? Because gaining C chart doesn't score you any points.
Gaining C chart did not seem consistent with going for some points.
It also lowers piles.
Yeah, the lower the C chart pile, the easier it is for Cider to pile out here.
I don't understand how the play involved gaining a C chart and then thinking. Like either you saw the win or you're not gaining C chart.
Copper. Gaining a C chart. We have 2 shots to redraw the Artificer and play it on the other side.
I mean, for sure his brain is fried right now. That's the thing we know. So
I mean, it's 11 o'clock at night almost where Mick is, so. Fun fact, all of the American players in the A division are in the Central Time Division. I mean, that's the time division we declare ourselves in. I don't know where he lives, but...
The centralizing time zone.
Yeah. It's like 100 million people in the time zone. I don't know how many people it is, 80 million people. So it's not... Yeah, so I'm thinking if we discard Copper, Grobber,
he wants to play the Scavenger.
To gain... If we discard Copper, Grobber, Artificer to gain a C chart, we have 2 shots with C chart to find the Artificer. But there's 2 coppers in the cemetery in the discard pile already, so there's too much crap in there.
Okay, I think Kid is looking at the same line I was looking at. It was coming up a coin short.
Or some of these lines buying a curse, or doing what I don't know what these lines are anymore.
None of the lines really appeared to be. I
guess
one of the lines we found was a tie. Right?
The line I was looking at didn't have spare buys.
Okay.
He
thinks it's there, or he thinks it's he think there are no lines, says Tracer.
We're grabbing this C chart into something.
There are no lines, only circles. With a center at infinity. This is happening in super slow-mo.
Extremely, we're in bullet time right now, I believe it's called. We discard the Scavenger, not the Grobber, so we're playing the... I assume we would discard the Grobber, discard the Scavenger, and then we could play the C chart and redraw a copper.
Is this Artificer gaining a copper, maybe?
Oh boy.
I
mean, like, if this doesn't win for Mick, Cider doesn't need to do anything. Mick's next turn is going to be so bad. That
Wouldn't it be funny if Cider... Can he dud, really?
no, they've got Artificer Scavenger Barge coming into play. So
It's also... Mick is definitely making it easier for Cider to win, so...
yeah, I mean,
Oof.
all the lines we analyzed kind of went away, right? The only piles that matter now are sea charts and duchies. There's nothing. I mean, Cider's going to click out a win in like 35 seconds. Although one of the games we said that and they didn't. So
Yeah, he's had some time to think on this one, though.
it's really tough to think about your turn until like I think that's what Cider did the last time. They had all that time to think and then they didn't they didn't reset
Yeah, but
their
but this time he's really getting to watch Mick lower the piles in slow motion. I mean, who knows?
It's a championship match, and I think obviously Mick really wants to win, or at least compete for it. Yeah, this is why I said you go into the kitchen, you get some food, you get a snack, you make some tea, which is I mean it's the morning, I don't know, they could be a coffee drinker or whatever drinker you make, you do your process, you do some calisthenics, you do some push-ups, you do something, I guess at this point. I don't know, if I'm commentating here in a live commentary, I don't know what I'm doing at this point. I'm probably like,
we really should have
muting
invited
myself.
Kazu. We really should have invited Kazu to, you know. It would have been cool if he got in the commentary. I wonder if he's doing commentary on the Japanese server.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't. I do see them in the spec chat.
Yeah, or they do Twitch. Some of the Japanese players do Twitch, right?
Yeah, Sangatsu has a Twitch,
Yeah.
which I watch sometime and have no idea what's going on.
There are a few players in the Japanese server in a chat at the moment, so most likely.
Oh yeah, I didn't even look.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Kazu and Grass Wonder are
I
talking.
assume if they maybe do commentary in Japanese on the Japanese server, which makes sense.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I did a post game commentary with Cider, or post game talk with Cider after one of our matches a couple seasons ago. And,
I have a suggestion. I believe Farmer's Market is the best art in this kingdom.
Oh.
Prove me wrong.
I kind of like the charm art.
Charm's not bad.
I also think Province has pretty good art.
Charm just looks like the sort of thing a mathematician would like.
I mean, you know, what is a dodecahedron?
Probably.
Yeah. 12-sided shape.
We can't see the back, but presumably it looks like the front.
Yeah, dodecahedron is 12 5-sided shapes.
Nice platonic solid.
Yep.
I think cemetery. I think the victory card. I mean, estate is a little dry. Duchy and Province have pretty good art. Cemetery is not so bad. I enjoy cemetery.
I don't like Province. Province looks like a mini golf course or something. Duchy's nice.
Really? Oh, is that a sand trap?
Or maybe, yeah, maybe it's just a golf course.
All right.
We have triggered what is possibly the worst shuffle that has ever been triggered.
And we did this for good reason.
And we put a cemetery on top.
What is this?
Here he goes.
Is someone seeing a pile out here?
So we top decked 6 junk cards.
Is this the mix hour-long turn ends and they click resign as soon as they draw?
I mean, Kateri is claiming right now that this was maybe a non-guaranteed win.
Mick also drew with their C chart right at the beginning of the turn when they only had 2 cards in play, so Mick already got lucky to draw as many cards as they did.
There's also plenty of other bad things that could be bottom decked. Like the other 5
C chart's
charms.
definitely not guaranteed to draw.
Or the barge or the artificers. The silver.
Nay solo watching the sunrise, maybe. Rest of us watching paint dry. No.
I did watch a sunrise run once, but it was in Hawaii, and it was at like
Wait.
noon my local time. So
How we spent like 30 minutes on this decision. There's no way this is possibly the
Wait a
best
second.
line. I do not believe.
What did he just play a bunch of the charms for gains and then buy a province?
Yes, you did.
Undo incoming. I mean, yeah, his brain is mush.
You gained 3 enclaves here.
Cider sitting at the
Oh.
in this situation, I find it very important not to keep my hand on my mouse because the make Mick resign. But although I guess it would have gone away at that point, but the make Mick resign button is too tempting. I have to like bring my hands away from my mouse and keyboard.
I mean,
Okay, chat. Here's the thing, chat. I need you to add Mick with the solutions if you have one.
no, leave him alone. Leave him alone.
Because there's no solution.
Is
There
he
is
just
no-
falling on a
there's-
sword here?
Well,
Goodbye, Mick Qsenoch. All right, that's the championship.
what if Cider Cider could have just gone out, but they had to accept that undo. Wow, what a season! I mean, congrats to Cider. That's 2 seasons in a row.
3. It's 3.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah.
I missed one because it was so early in the morning. 3 seasons in a row for Cider. You know, and they won the first season. They won their C division, second season B division. So there's some kind of record for most seasons in a row winning their division that they're going for, which we can check in with league stats later on. But
I mean, I feel like Mick has probably won. I'm not looking right now. I feel like he's probably won 3 championships in a row before.
sure. I mean, like Cider's got a streak going though. So going to be exciting, Lemon, for you and Kazu and Mick and Bobby DJ and Shad is the other joiner of A next
Yeah.
season.
Are they? Have either of those guys been in?
Not to my
No.
knowledge.
And they had an interesting B League championship match.
I
Interesting.
didn't watch that. What was what happened in it?
No comments.
Yeah, so this will be.
Some awkward plays occurred. Is all I will say. Do we have a populate alliance kingdom here?
Which 10 do you click on? I
I had populate garrison recently. That was fun. There were no villages and like half the things were terminals, but I just won the next turn because
I feel like I'm not sure how I feel about populate here. Gaining a poorhouse and a workshop look pretty bad.
yeah. I get to modify the artisan, the golem. It all seems, and then your Devil's Workshop gains an imp. It seems not terrible. You're probably going to have a couple modifies in that deck already.
Yeah.
Is this just money?
This kingdom doesn't have the thing where you click on alliance and think it was populate though.
This is an awkward kingdom.
I think.
I could see this being a real slow game.
How do you
if,
feel about
the players
poorhouse
were heavily
money?
invested in the results?
Just thin real
I think
fast
with
modify.
modifies and like alliance, whatever.
Well, I guess
it's
if you,
money.
yeah,
Why
if
are we
if you
getting
click on
Guardians?
alliances, maybe poorhouse gets less good.
Because we can to
Wait, you
guarantee
wanna
we
do-
hit 5 the next turn. Because it's better than the other 2 costs, and you want to gain.
What about just buying golems in this kingdom?
That seems.
I mean, everything sucks.
What are we hitting? What is Golem hitting that you want to hit?
Imps?
I don't know. It's a draw. It's probably bad.
You definitely could build here.
Stonemason makes Golem slightly better.
If you threw in some decent alt VP, then maybe you try to build the like Golem Village Green Imp deck.
Kind of like 4 modifies into like Artisan Poorhouse stuff. Just get rid of all your coppers, and then you've got a couple of village greens, an artisan, a bunch of poorhouses and imps, and that should draw. And
Cider's deck's
give you
getting
money.
online pretty well and pretty fast, looks like.
Yeah, we committed DZ. The players committed to playing out 6 games because we have such a big audience. We wanted to make sure everybody got their spectating experience. Although,
Cider won.
perhaps many of the spectators have fallen asleep. You know, for the commentators, we get paid double time after 3 hours, and we get paid the full hour. So as of just right now, it crossed 11:01 p.m. So we're getting another full hour pay, and this game's gonna end in like 10 minutes. So I don't know what hourly rate you guys are getting, but pretty lucrative as commentary goes.
What's a Marion berry?
Marionberries are popular in Oregon. Marionberry pie you can get in Oregon. It's quite delicious.
I've never heard this word in my life.
Some kind of like a blackberry, something along those lines.
I've had Saskatoon pie. That's more like blueberry.
Yeah, if you're ever in Oregon, in Portland or like in Bend, Oregon, get yourself some Marionberry pie in the summer. It's also the name of the mayor, Marion Barry.
Yeah, that's what I was.
The mayor of Washington D.C. with checkered.
Yeah.
Checkered.
Past.
Yeah. Present. And obviously, you've got the lingonberries, which are famous. You know, you usually get lingonberries when you're buying a new bookcase. It's an American tradition. I think they have that in Europe too.
It is.
I'm kind of glad that, to be honest, I'm kind of glad that this match in the league championship didn't come down to this board.
Yeah, this board looks nasty.
But,
Do they have IKEAs in Europe, or is it just an American thing? We have too many fishing. We have too many fishing villages, right? We should have not.
Yeah, I think they're just
10 of
clicking.
them.
Cider.
Because every other card draws, and these fishing villages are just like really annoying stop cards.
It's the silver.
Congrats to Cider.
Yeah, as I said, like 3 in a row. Like, I mean, obviously they're very highly rated and very good player, but you know, they start to go up in the all-time standings where, you know, you have Steph and Mick and I don't know if like all-time number of, if there's a thing in the league season for like
I think Ennis Smith's up there after that last streak.
all-time number of league championships. Yeah, so right now it's Mick with 17, Steph with 9, Naismith with 5, Tracer with 4, RTT with 4, and Marcus and Rabid with 3. Now shared by Cider.
Yeah, and going at quite a clip.
Yeah, I'm seeing 4 in a row. It looks like as the longest stretch of anybody. It looks like, yeah, 4 in a row. Naismith had 4 in a row once. Steph had 4 in a row once, and Mick had 4 in a row twice.
I'll be trying to stop that from happening again.
I think Lemon's got this, right? JNails will let him deal with that this season.
Yep.
Well, I think I'm gonna go to bed. Dead. I'm kind of dead after that. Although this is about to be over, I guess. But
this is why we need a sideline reporter. You know, cut to Aaron Andrews on the sideline outside of Cider's building. It's like, yeah, Cider's left the desk and appears to be in the kitchen.
The piles are low, but the decks don't have like deck control that would let them empty the piles. So I think this is going to
modify these fishing villages now into something better or different. Fishing village into village green or something.
I think you're just playing this fishing village.
You can modify the fishing village to a village green and next turn it and buy a duchy.
Wait, how are you next turn the village green?
Is modify not getting it to hand?
No?
No.
Are you thinking
Then-
of Hill Fort?
Yes.
Which is
I'm thinking of a card.
not a...
I no longer even know what the wrong cards are with all the new expansions and second editions.
I don't think there's any card that trashes a card and then gains the card you gained to hand.
Transmogrify?
Oh, you call it, but then you. Oh yeah, you could do that at the start of the turn, which it wasn't.
I also have brain fatigue at this time of night.
Oh, look at those poorhouses.
Well, I'd like to say good morning to all the Germans who are turning in.
Makes me able to
Hello.
dominate.
You think are we gonna see? We're gonna see them getting more alliances. I mean, obviously, populate seems like it's out at this point. I'd like to see some alliances though with all these modifies.
I think I'd buy Alliance here as Mick. How many of those miniature Mick's final turn?
We're getting a lot of things.
I don't know if that is the strategically optimal line. To me, it looks like the line of someone who kind of wants the game to end. I want lower piles.
I do like the triple 4-coin poorhouse though. That's pretty impressive. Plus an imp. I'm looking forward to. I've never had Garrison Alliance. That seems like it could be fun.
Oh my.
All right, so is there a pile out here for Cider? Not after drawing 2 duchies, I don't think. I feel like we had gotten close if we drew like a gold or a silver and hit 5. Well, then a silver. If they hit
I
5.
vote Stonemason, a Devil's Workshop into 2 Stonemasons, and then modify a Devil's Workshop into Duchy. Now you've got an 8-point lead, and then the next time you hit 7, you just win.
Yeah. Or you draw another modify.
Or 9-point lead, because you can buy an estate at the end of that.
Yep. That seems reasonable. Modify. Yeah, modify Devil's Workshop into modify Stonemason Devil's Workshop for 2 states. That sounds good, JNails. I think one turn might have been more than half the match, to be honest. It's just, I mean, like, it was so close in so many different ways. I think we all kind of in that spot understand how Nick is feeling. We've been in similar spots. Like, you just can't like give up in that spot. You've got to try to explore all the lines, and it's the league championship on the line. And Cider was pretty right to poke what they did. I think Cider was actually very polite and could have said something sooner and said something harsher.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they were just very polite and said, "Hey." I think all they said was "Hey," right?
Yeah.
So no faults for Cider there. I think they handled it quite well, with the grace, of a champion. Mick Alliance again.
Yeah, the Alliance seems great for Mick. Definitely puts him in the game.
Mick kind of just collided all their poorhouses together at the right times. But I agree with what Lemon said, that this would have been kind of a nasty kingdom to settle the league championship.
So Cider, I think you're thinking about stonemasoning the fishing village into estates, and that probably loses to just Duchy Estate. But they do it anyway, and hope Mick duds. If Mick duds here, Cider wins, but I think Mick will have it.
It's pretty tough for Mick to dud. This is 4.
I mean, the quality of these decks is
And a
not
workshop.
exceptionally high.
Why?
Interesting play
Order?
All
That
right.
was not good play order.
But Mick finds the win.
Yeah.
So in a
There's
technical
even a
sense, they tied the match, but this will result
Stonemason.
in a
Yeah.
A victory
Yeah.
for Cider.
The stonemason pilot was more stylish. Thank you, JNails, for recording this, and hopefully YouTube will accept the whole video all at once.
We'll find out.
And thanks, spectators. Yeah, don't message any of the players, but if you do find a winning line, you can go to like Theory Puzzles or Kingdom Analysis. But we're pretty sure, it's not there. And congrats to Cider.
Yep, that's the match. See ya.